So today we're here at Adrian's fish room. Today we're going to be doing a full tour. There's a ton of tanks here, a ton of ponds as well, and this place, again, I say it every time, is looking a heap better. I mean, it always looked amazing, but
thank you.
It's looking great. This is just going to be a real relaxing video, so grab a drink, grab a coffee, sit down. It's probably going to be a bit of a longer one.
Oh yeah, I reckon.
We're going to go through as many of the tanks as possible, try and get some really cool shots, and I think you guys are going to love this video. So, sweet. I reckon we just get straight into it, dude.
Yeah, for sure. Let's go.
Let's not waste time.
Awesome.
Cool. I guess we'll start out where we always start out, hey?
Yeah,
The
I
8 footer.
agree. The 8-footer. I think the fish get the attention because they're so personable.
Yeah.
Look at these guys. So these are all my babies. I bred every one of these. So I think without, yeah, I've bred every one of these ones. Probably the predominant fish in there is obviously the angels, I think, but they're the wild type. They come from the same parents, believe it or not. These are the wild type with the stripes on them. The boys have got the darker orange heads, and when they're in breeding condition, that's really quite, I think it's predominant. Here's another boy. This is a pair over here. But these are the leopard type that I'm trying to breed, and yeah, I'm trying to get that leopard pattern, and I want to cross it with these orange headed kois, but they're actually pearl scales.
So one on the back.
Yeah, that guy at the back, can you see him there? The way he's the shimmers on him with the pearl scales. So he's probably the largest one in there. He hasn't really paired up with any of them. The other one has. So, and I have had them lay eggs in here before, lots of times, but I didn't get them off quick enough, and that was the only time that I've had the orange cross with those ones. The other standout fish are usually the Yakaras.
Last time we were here, they had babies, remember?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and they've bred a couple of times since. I got some more babies over there. This is the boss of the tank, the big boy.
Now, we were saying too, this is the first time we filmed the room in winter.
Yeah.
Have you noticed, does stuff slow down breeding in winter?
Some does, but I've noticed my plecos actually breed really well. Like, I've got more babies in there at the moment, and I've actually got 20 peppermint plecos in this tank. So, not that you ever see them, unless it's after dark, but I've actually got some babies. I think I pointed out a baby to you earlier when you first come in here. So there's babies in there. They would probably be no more, maybe a month old, maybe 3 weeks old, those guys in there. So,
and they grow quick in a big tank like this?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they really do. I've got well over 100 in the other tank, which we'll see shortly, but they're still little babies that have not long come out of there.
And there's also the Tetras too, which is awesome.
Yeah. It was originally going to be a see the Ziggy's. This is what I spend most of my day when. If you actually watch my my videos on my channel, you'll see that I spend half the time chasing him. Let's say quarter of the time chasing, fixing up what he screws up, and then the other time is kicking the ball for him. That he gets a bit frustrated being here in winter time because normally the door's open.
Yeah.
So the Tetras, man, yeah, they were. The whole tank was really designed to be a large Tetra tank. I really wanted to showcase how big that they actually can get.
Yeah.
And that's Popeye there. He's still, again, all three of our videos.
He's been alive.
He's been in there. He's the longest living one that I've got, I think. And I thought he'd die because of that bulging eye, but he's managed to kick on.
Yeah.
But the large Tetras have sort of slowly died out, and then I've got others that have actually bred in there. So the lemon Tetras, you'll see them up there just under the waterfall. So they have bred in there multiple times, and then these guys here are Brazilian blackline Tetras. I think they're Monkhausia.
Yeah.
And they were given to me by a subscriber because he had to move them on, and I put the 6 of them into a tub that I'll show you how I'm breeding the current Tetras I'm breeding. But same thing, I put them in there for 2 weeks, and I got 10 babies out of them, and the 6 babies are over there. But then I noticed, you'll love this, right? So this system here, this is an 8-foot system that runs through, I guess that's, what's that, a 4-foot sump.
Yeah.
The 6 tanks next to it also run through this sump. So it's a recirculating system that goes around. Now, if you look at the sump, right, so the water comes in through the outlet here. It has to go down through all of this filtration, up here, and then through all of this filtration. And then it comes out under here, through that, and then under here, through the biomedia, and then back up. So you look at it's complete, there's no way known that an egg can get through there. None, right? So if you look here, I got a baby black line tetra. He just turned up in there. Yep. And I don't swap plants, and I don't catch fish really between the tanks. So
Plus, their eggs aren't adhesive either.
No. And then if you have a look in here, I got lemon tetra. There's 3 lemon tetra.
What, so they're just
and I did not put them in there. So what I've worked out, and I actually worked out it because it's physically impossible, I thought, right?
Yeah.
But what happens is when I change the water, so I've got it all on the baffle system over here, right? So when I change the water, it flows through. It actually fills up and then it runs over the baffles.
Yeah.
And then down here, I've got some stuff on. This is my moss I'm growing.
Oh, yeah.
See
Nice.
that's off the farm.
Like phycedins or something. Yeah.
Ziggy loves the smell of it. And then some baby tears, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you see
Is
that
it
all right?
Monte Carlo?
Might be Monte Carlo. I've got both.
Is that it? No, I don't know what that. I don't know.
It's either or.
Yeah.
But what I was going to show you, see the outlet there?
Yeah.
Over Ziggy's nose?
Yeah.
That outlet runs out into the drain, and it drains out into, at the moment, onto the grass because it's winter and I don't need the water, but I can actually run it to my vegetables.
Yeah.
So what's happened is that they've bred, and they're egg scatterers, remember? So the eggs in theory should fall.
Yeah.
But they're bred somehow, I would say up here in this foxtail, the egg has gotten into the flow. It's gone through the whole system. It's gone up over all of the baffles. Then it's gone through the pump, which is the impeller. So it's survived going through the impeller, and then it's come up and it's been deposited into this tank and into those 2 tanks.
And then survived.
And then it's hatched out with me not feeding them, right? And then the snails and like it's just totally amazing that it's gone through. And the other thing is maybe it got to a fish first. Great. Well, how did it get through the pump? Like it's incredible. So I always find that, when those sorts of things happen, it blows my mind.
Yeah, and super rewarding. It's like probably your favorite fish.
It's incredible to see how life just actually, prevails and what they can do. And
Yeah.
That to me, the lemon tetras, I thought, okay, maybe they just scatter. There's lots of, tons and tons of eggs, but I know these guys don't lay many eggs, So to have one of those turn up in there, and the other babies that I bred are these guys down here.
Oh yeah, you bred these?
Yeah, they're out of the 10, 6 left out of the 10 that I got, and the 4 died pretty early. They sort of just disappeared. But those guys I absolutely adore, and they've got like a green. They don't really seem to have scales. You know how you've got that, like we call them tailor here, the beach fish, the sea fish.
Yeah.
They've got like a leathery skin as opposed to a scale. Well, that's what that looks like to me.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. So how'd you breed them?
Great fish. I've got all I did was set up a tub. Like one of those green tubs over there, which I'll show. I'm breeding the black tetras, which I'll show you actually exactly how I did it.
Cool.
But and then I just put the parents in there for 2 weeks, and then I took the parents out, and then I fed it with green water, basically like there was tetra in there, and then within a week or so I could see them, and then I just raised them up normally.
So it wasn't even complicated at all.
No, I try to keep it.
Yeah.
I try to keep it natural, and I try to keep it simple because I'm a simple guy. I don't like to make it overly complex for anything. And then I like to, it's like my water system. I guess the complexity is at the start when you're putting it together, but thereafter it's for the simplicity. It's like I can turn that tap on and change the water in 7 tanks and not worry where it's going.
Yeah.
I probably should have a container outside where it goes into that somehow has got a filter or net on it to catch any eggs that come through.
Yeah, you definitely
because it's just going straight down onto the grass at the moment. But keeping it natural, and then just trying to encourage them to do what they would do normally, and again I'll show you in the tetra tub around the side, but that for me is probably the easiest way to breed fish, no matter what sort of fish it is. Keep it simple, keep it natural, and they'll do the rest.
Yeah. But the other thing too I love about this tank, I always talk about it, is the plants on top, like all the house plants.
Yeah. So originally I put the timber across there. I could hang it off the garage, which is or the door. And I just put a few around there, but they have just gone nuts. And it was really the first, evidence that I got that fish water is incredible. Like, because this was the first. this is all hodgepodge. I put these together in bits and pieces. I built all the stands with my mate Glenn, who's a builder, and we had some great days in here, just putting all of this together and setting it up so it could grow naturally. And I've tried to keep most of the roots at the back of the tank. I've got to keep pushing it because up until a week ago, is it Brazilian pennywort was out, or is it Egyptian? Brazilian, I think it is, isn't it? But anyway,
yeah.
That one there was right out to where the fish are, all the other Ludwigia. But see, once it started to become aged, it's like that's how things become natural. Mosses come, the ferns come. I've stuck different, these are irises in there. And I just tried everything that I thought, okay, well, if you can grow it in aquaponics or you can grow it in swampy marsh conditions, then I'm going to try it here. And then just trying to position it so it actually looked good. And then, of course, it just went nuts. I credit probably this plant life as to what keeps, the 7 tanks. I've never had a problem with nitrates or ammonia or spikes of anything. It's extremely stable.
No, and they're all lush and healthy. They're actually really,
And I love the way it looks out the top. I mean, if you look over into that angle over there.
Yeah, I know.
I'll take that out the way.
Look at that.
And then the whole thing literally becomes an ecosystem.
It's almost like the air's fresher in here too. It sounds really weird to say that, but
this amount of plants would create a huge amount of oxygen for sure.
Yeah.
But look at the way the Ludwigia. Now that was one piece.
Yeah.
One piece.
Yeah, it's just.
And then if you like the top, and then look how underneath it then becomes that natural habitat for tetras to spawn in.
Yep.
And that goes right to the back. And then, have you seen any of Chris Lukamp's videos?
Yeah.
He's just amazing. And the footage that he gets in the wild and that sort of stuff. I watched a couple on Mauritius, and there's some really good ones. But that there was what I'm trying to replicate between the top and then also the bottom, how the Ludwigia is actually coming out.
Yeah, dude, it's awesome. And there's your peppermint too, by the way.
Oh, good.
You can see one in the middle there. So there's proof that there is baby peppermint.
Yeah. Yeah, there's at least 20 adults, I know.
And, dude, this thing, I always love.
The waterfall at the top.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, again, it's that just trying to blend. I still don't like just a glass top on a tank. I just think it's missing something. It's like it just stops. It's unnatural if you're trying to create a natural habitat or environmental look. So blending the top, and you'll see it with a few of them. I've actually now, I think I've got it down to a reasonable art form that I like it, And it takes work. So see how this is dry up here? So I haven't splashed water on that for a few days, but it's literally as easy as that. And that's, I won't do that again and probably for another week, but that actually just grows. Everything on top of it grows. Everything underneath. I like the way that, I don't know what that plant is. Is it Rickia or something?
Yeah, that looks like Rickia.
Yeah, how good does that look?
It's hard to see, but we'll try and get a good B-roll shot.
Now,
Rickia's
100% I didn't plant it there.
Yeah.
It just turned up. I mean, that to me is proof that, okay, it's like in nature when I go to the creek on my farm, it changes every time it rains, and something comes in, then it establishes, and then it gets a period of time where it can actually grow, and then it will become, part of that river system and ecosystem. And if not, it just gets washed away and something else comes in, and that for me was like, oh, I like that. I didn't do that. And then with that, so you can have a simple, how I talk about glass tanks. Well, these are just black water pipes that come out, and I just wanted to disguise them, So,
and even this stuff, dude, it's kind of tacky, but it's not at the same time. It works.
So that's right.
Oh,
That's okay. That happens all the time. Put that in your blooper roll on your other channel. So blending the two, you can see, it's actually not hard. You're trying to get rid of the black pipe and then not necessarily completely disguise it, but you just want to create enough of a peripheral view that it blends in, and that's what that green does down there. That's what those things are meant to do. Your attention's meant to be drawn to the tank, not to what would be a lit sump underneath, and I like the light under the sump. So it is really that blending of the whole thing from the ceiling to the floor.
Yeah.
And if you do that correctly, your attention is drawn to where it should be. Whereas if there was other things around, that's just my opinion, but it's the style of...
I so agree. It's my living room tank is inspired by this.
Oh, nice.
And we hung a big piece of driftwood as well, did the plants, everything, dude. And
I'm going to load you up with more plants before you go.
My girlfriend, showed no interest in fish really. Like she saw
Yeah.
nature and all that.
Yeah.
She loves that tank.
How
I
good.
catch her feeding it all
How
the
good.
time.
Yeah, that's
like,
awesome.
You know,
That's so good.
It's like someone who's
Yeah.
not really interested in fish.
Yeah.
Enjoying it. Like it's got the house plants.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just so.
It's something that you can actually both get involved in as well.
Yeah.
And being able to, so one of the things I do with plants is I just trial them. Like I don't care what it says on the tag. Most of that is crap.
Yeah.
It's just a mass-produced
Everything
tag,
says
right?
just no wet feed.
No
wet
yeah.
feed.
And then I go, okay, well I'll trial that. And you can try a pot with in a container of water with 1 inch or 2 of water. See how it goes outside. And if it goes okay in the sun, you go, okay, well it's fine having wet feet. All I do is I wash the water off, or I stick them in. Like that's a philodendron growing in there. That's a spider plant there. I've got more philodendrons there. This is Japanese, something like, I think it's called celery plant, but or something similar. That's an Amazon sword.
Yeah, I love that.
The water's, you know, that's 48 hours old. I'll talk about that tub when we do it. But yeah, trying to blend them all together, and then same thing with behind Harlem there.
Yeah.
Is that the white wall would just stand out.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Like dog's balls.
dog balls. So just putting that there has broken it up, and now it blends the two tanks
Yes.
for me.
Yeah.
And this is also, it's also subjective to the position the tank is, your height, and like you'll see all the lights are set on an angle away from me because I don't like to look at the light. So from my height, which I'm 6'2", as you know,
Yeah.
this there, I don't see any light. I just see that there. And similarly with this, I don't want to, I'm actually going to get a spotlight put in here, shooting this way, and one shooting down here. This is just a holding tank, and my all my babies and all my growouts in there, and I've got some rainbows, as you saw in there before. It's also my Dean's fry rack, which we'll get to. But yeah, you'll see again hiding I've got my air filters up here, the linear air pumps. Same thing, just put a thing of fake plants over it. And then, I mean, while we're on fake plants, if you just turn around that way, you'll see that blocks, that's just all, you know,
Yeah.
the wall of them. Now they're $5 or $6 now a square. So it's cheap as chips. And then I think it blends the room. So it just draws your attention where
I
it
think
should be, you know.
it wouldn't work well if you didn't have as many live plants. Like then it would look a bit tacky, but like because you've got all the
Agreed,
live
yeah.
plants, you don't notice it.
Yeah, yeah.
It just like I don't know.
Yeah,
Polishes it.
I agree. It does blend it well.
I have a question.
Shoot.
Do you ever have problems with fish jumping with the open lids?
Never.
Okay, yeah, because they're probably so comfortable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what I find? I think you find a lot of tanks with open lids. A lot of people won't have any floating plants on it.
Yeah.
But as soon as you put a floating plant on it, the fish knows where the limit is.
Okay.
Right. So, in particularly at night time, if it's a crystal clear water, crystal clear tank, no lids, the fish get spooked, they jump out. But if there's nothing above them, but if they've got a whole heap of frog bit to go to, when they get spooked, they go to under the frog bit, not out the tank. So it's just my personal opinion, but you'll notice
Makes a lot of sense.
all of my tubs, anything that's open, I've got something in there that sets really clearly for them where the water line is.
Yeah.
So, and the only ones I don't do that with are the Julidochromis, because they'll still get out. You can have a ½ inch gap that's just happened to appear, because you've moved the lid, they're out of that. They're gone.
Yeah.
So they're almost flying fish. But like I've got Dennison barbs and rainbows, and they don't jump out ever. I think it's probably to do with setting the height limit, if you like, for want of a better term.
And before we move on from this tank, we've been talking about it for a while. Are these crinums?
They are.
Yeah, how nice are they?
Yeah, I find they do not like the flow, but love it just off the flow.
Okay.
They seem to get a lot more of the nutrients and stuff.
Did you start with one? And
started with
propagated
one.
them?
I think there might have been two. You know how they come out. There was one bunch, and maybe spread out to 2 or 3 little ones. But yeah, that's it there.
That's neat. Yeah, I really want to get into my plants again. I haven't really done it for a long time.
Yep.
And your room just inspires me to get into
Cool,
plants,
thank
'cause
you.
especially this one too.
Yeah.
Ponegatan, is it?
It is. That's the Ponegatan. Yeah, look how long would that be now? That'd be over a metre, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and like you can actually go back and watch that other video, and you'll see its growth since then. So it's been like 8 months, 7 months.
Yep.
Yeah.
I thought about pulling this out before you got here, just because I would have done it anyway. But I love just the way it's come in there, and the Ruthven Tetras. They just get in there, and that's where they'll actually do their action. And
Yeah.
I think there's 3 boys and a girl in there, so I'm hoping. I mean, if I took them out, I could definitely breed them.
I reckon there's going to be a big boom in like people with like tetras. Like,
Yeah.
I think tetras are one of those fish that could easily be collected, like a collectible fish.
Mm-hmm.
And there's all different types. And if people can get into the breeding of like rarer tetras,
Yeah. When they realised that, I think that tetras are pretty textbook, really. If you do the right things, or 80% of the right things, they'll breed for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that when people realise that they are actually quite easy to breed, I've done a video. My last video on my channel was about breeding tetras. I just got 10 of the gold head or gold top black neons.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I actually got them to put in here with the other 10 that I've got, but I thought, well, why do that if they are different? I'll try to breed them like I've done in here. So, and the same with Corydoras. So you can actually then go out and get some expensive tetras. Like even if you only got 4 or 5, sure, it's better to have 10 or 20, but you can put them into a tub, breed them, and then get another 5, 10, 15, 20 babies out and then create your own. Like you've had how many videos on breeding neons and things like that? They're so much fun.
I know. Yeah. And I've been breeding neons lately. And It's just really rewarding, fun, interesting
I love
fish.
it.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. Yeah, I find tetras are brilliant. I put them up there with the Corydoras. They're that much fun to breed and see what you get out of them, I think.
What dimensions are this tank?
Oh, geez, let me tell you, because I didn't.
Like
should know.
Foot and a half high?
I should know. So that's 600 millimeters
So 2 foot.
by 600. So 2 foot by 2 foot.
By 1.5 maybe?
What's that? 400 and
460.
460.
450. Yeah, so
So yeah, what's that? 1.5 really, isn't
yeah,
it?
1.5. 2 by 2 by 1.5.
Yep.
Yeah, it's an interesting tank size, isn't it?
It is.
It's like a boxy little tank. It's pretty cool. So
So-
you can build it up like this.
Yeah, I've actually had the success. I've had more success with my plecos in these tanks than anywhere else. So they're the peppermints in there, and we'll definitely get some B-roll when we feed them. But
Oh man, yeah.
I have a massive snail infestation in there, so I'm doing a snail control video now.
Do you want to feed these? Remember last time we fed the
Yeah.
green cuisine?
Yeah,
And yeah, I feed this to all my plekies, and I think that they'll love it. It's really
these
high protein
guys.
as well.
If we give them a couple of minutes, you'll see how many is in here, I reckon, because they love their food. But you'll also see how many snails are in there.
So the catch with this food, we don't use spirulina.
Okay.
We use chlorella. So the chlorella is a freshwater algae, and it
I
has
do
a bit,
remember you telling me about that. Yeah.
yeah, it has a lower protein content than the marine algae,
Yep.
spirulina. So I find that I don't really get bloat or anything like that. And the fish love it.
Yeah.
It's good. So
Yeah,
the
yeah.
fin come out.
Yeah, well, they normally get fed at night, of course, but they will come out.
Yeah.
You'll see them starting to come around out of the little Pleco high rises that I've got in there.
Yeah.
So they're just, I've just put some seedling trays or punnets together, and then essentially that just ensures, for me, I found it ensures the survival of the babies, because even when they're tiny, so these guys, when they're tiny, even these guys here will smash them around. So the babies go in here, into these little crevices, and then as they get older they progress to there, and then they progress to there, and they can hide in all these other places, but they will slowly come out. And I've probably got a couple of hundred plecos in there as far as the pets are concerned.
But they breed better in these tall tanks.
Way better.
Why do you think?
It's probably got to do with the depth. I'm thinking because I've had them in like 4x2s,
Yeah.
so a larger footprint, and they didn't breed anywhere near as well. So congregating them in there, I don't think the females can really get away.
Sure.
And I think the depth, I find lots of the baby plex will be up in that Java fern and up in that blackbeard stuff up there. They're very much, they get away from the ruckus down the bottom, you know. And I think a lot of, you put two male plecos together fighting and stick some babies in there, there's always some casualties, you know.
Yeah. And I interrupted you before. What were you going to say about the snails? Do you remember?
So yeah, no, I'm doing this tank again at feeding time when we shoot the B-roll is infested with snails. So I'm doing a snail well, there's like a control video. You can't eradicate them unless you bomb the tank. I'm sort of going to have to with that tank, I think, just because I need to get the plecos out, number one, but doing snail traps and stuff just takes forever.
Yeah.
Similarly with this one on the left, this is the L333 tank. It's got
Yeah.
10 black neons in there. How long were we talking about how I could never breed these guys?
Yeah.
I think I'm up to 5 spawns now of varying sizes throughout there.
Yeah.
So they're doing really well. I'll feed them the bug buffet because they love it.
Yeah. Did you breed these or did you buy these?
I bought those 10.
Yeah.
I didn't try to breed them. I could, I'm
Yeah.
sure, just because tetras are, tetras.
But yeah, no, we were talking about maybe the first video, like you're questioning whether you even had mixed sexes of these.
Yeah.
And then now
Now
there's
they're
babies, and they're quite big too, some of them.
Yeah. Look, I don't know how many I've lost, but I don't think it's been too many. I don't think I don't think they're too large each time.
Yeah, here we go. Crush that bug buffet out. See, I love how it milks up and gets all over the tank.
Totally.
It's like my favorite thing about the bug buffet.
Yep, definitely. The smell will get those guys going.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I usually feed, obviously, of an evening
Yeah,
for me, and they, but they'll still come out for the
It's
food.
alright, you'll see them in the B-roll.
Oh yeah.
Look. So there's a little 333, hey? There's three sizes there.
There should be 4 to 5 sizes there, and one's only probably maybe a week or two out, which is why I was saying the cold. Like,
Dude,
it's been
nice.
0 degrees here for 3 nights in a row, and these guys, they haven't missed a beat really. But they, I found the last couple of weeks I've got new baby spawns out. Same with the 397s, and one of the things too, I think that might be conducive to them breeding is that they're all on the same water system. So when one's breeding and the pheromones are out and they're spawning, then that pheromone or that smell is in the water for all of them. Mm-hmm. So and I do think having a trigger for sure.
Yeah.
And I do think having like Tetras breeding might, for example, that pheromone might trigger the Plecos to breed. I've got no Cories on this side anymore.
Any reason?
I find they bred okay, but they like a shallower tank.
Sure. Yeah.
Almost
they want
always.
to breed.
And the babies need to get to the top, and if you're breeding them naturally, for me, I didn't get a great survival rate. These are the 397s. I'll put some down there because I've got quite a few bubbies there. I'll put a bit of both.
Yeah, they'll probably love that green.
As far as 397s go, these are pretty approachable fish, really. The parents stay out. The babies come out.
And they're such a pretty fish, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's babies there.
Zig.
It does amaze me, like you constantly do have babies of these fish every time I've been.
See how small that was on that?
Yeah, that's like a freshie there.
Yeah, he's like, we'll just say 2 weeks maybe at most. Yeah, so I definitely think the cold's doing it.
Yeah. And then even the cardinals. I was saying to Harlan yesterday, we were filming B-roll for a video at my shop.
Yep.
And, hey buddy. Oh.
Oh yeah, sorry. You know how he was so
scared before.
Objectionable when he first got here. Now he just won't leave you alone. Once he knows you're okay.
Cardinals are like one of the most beautiful fish.
Yeah.
Like, especially if you get them in a big school.
Yeah.
Super underrated.
Yep. I had 10 in there. Oh, actually around, I put, 6 in there just as a bit of a spot for them. I'd love to catch them out. When I take those plecos out, I'll probably catch them out and try to breed them. But gorgeous fish.
Really gorgeous, hey?
Yeah.
These always breed, hey?
Always, mate. There's not a whole secret to those guys, other than I think have a selection of woods in there for them, like different sorts. Not necessarily softwood, but it doesn't have to be super hardwood either. I think if you get a selection out there, all of that stuff I've got off my farm, so I just collect it naturally. You don't have to go and buy it.
They do break down the wood quite a bit too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that tank, and I guess without exaggeration, would get 2 inches of just sawdust, almost black, moldy rubbish on it, every month, and I siphoned that out 2 days ago.
Yeah.
So it's pretty good, and because it's on the system, it stirs up and goes out. But you'll see, I've got a grow-out tank with babies in it as well. Similarly, they just chew it and chew it and chew it. I'll put some in here because there's usually lots, and that's just a common plex, and I keep them. I don't know why I keep them. There's a few. It's good to have them in the tanks and stuff like that to keep it clean.
Well, they might be also throwing out pheromones because they just breed no matter what. Sort of thing.
There's just so many of them in there.
Yeah, and they do look interesting. I mean, they just
great
overpopulate.
fish. Yeah. It's just when I've got 200 of them in there. It just, I've got to feed them, and it takes out, just adds more nutrients to the water and stuff like that. So look at the way the valve on top
I was
there.
going to say that before too.
So I thought about pulling that out a month ago, and then I thought, no, it's just so good. I had it planted. I had 3 bits in there, and then I put the air stone in, and then it just, uprooted as it does, and it stayed at the top. And that's gone from 3 bits to that. But
so it's growing like a floating plant.
Yeah, and have a look in the center. I've got it coming up out of the, and it goes all around like a ring.
That's the need.
So it's amazing. And I thought, I'm just going to leave it. And it's just got bigger and thicker. The Tetras love it. It's like this mat over the...
You can tell they're like super happy.
Don't they? They just hang underneath it. They look really happy.
Yeah, they are super happy.
Yeah.
The other thing I thought was really cool was just this little spot. You can see the water coming out here and here.
Yeah, nice.
Gum nuts, the moss.
Just trying to blend that top so it's not...
Then the pothos, man. It's just
yeah.
nuts.
I cut so much out of that, it's not funny. All I need to do with this, I just do it once or twice.
The other thing too, this isn't like, for everyone at home, this isn't an expensive setup really.
No.
These are just floodlights. You can get them from the hardware store, right?
$22.
Yeah. So, and look at the spectrum of light they give. It's like this nice daylight kind of.
Yeah.
And it gives the water like a ripple. I reckon
It does.
Like I wouldn't recommend wasting any money on like expensive lights.
You don't need to, and I guess that's part of the thing that I try to do on my channel is just show people that you don't actually need to be, super skilled or super rich. You don't, you just need to follow some basic stuff. There's a heap of other alternatives that you can use as you go through, and give it a crack because I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Now, I'm going to get you to check these guys out.
Yes.
They're doing their spawning thing. Are they not the most beautiful Gadids you've ever seen?
Yeah,
Look at
they're
the colour
so
on them.
good, dude.
This is
good.
one of my favourite tanks at the moment. But they, to me...
So these tequila ones?
So these are Xenotoca izeni.
Yeah.
They're also, I think, sometimes referred to as San Marcos, which I think is more of a collection point. But they're either critically endangered or nearly extinct in the wild.
Yeah.
And I got... this was a tank I had panda cories in.
Yes.
And they were breeding, and I forget what fish I had on top there. But they, I just thought, no, I did actually a setup video on my channel with I wanted to do a species only for the Gadids. I wanted them to be a feature fish in there and have no other, competition. And then Matt Duffy and I found them online. Matt said, I said to the guy, look, I'll swap you some plants for a couple of your Gadids, and in the end, again, that's in the video, I went up to his place and I ended up with, I think there was 63 of them, and so I'm splitting them with Matt. He gave me half the plants that we swapped, and then I've got another full tub of them over there with another 43 in them, the babies that I've already had.
Wow.
So I've got, over 100 of them now, but they are extremely happy in there.
Man, they're fun too. They're loving this tank. They are loving this tank. There's babies everywhere.
Funny we're talking about the size of this tank is that when I bred them at my last fish room was in these tanks.
Right.
So when I bred them, I tried to breed them here in a longer tank. They just didn't like it. They really enjoy, they don't do much other than beg for food.
Yeah.
So, but they're watching the males spawn. I mean, I have not seen colour like that in a Gadid, certainly in Australia.
Oh, dude, these are the best Gadids I've seen.
Yeah.
Look,
I'm pleased you agree because that was my opinion. I don't know of any others. So I'm really gonna.
Like Greg Sage was good at breeding them.
Yep.
But obviously his tanks weren't set up like Aquascapes. So to see them like this is just so cool.
Yeah, there's nothing online about where they come from. There's no underwater pictures that I could find.
No.
There's no underwater footage of them. So I tried to replicate what I thought a Mexican river would be.
Yeah, sure.
So, as much as the plants aren't biotope, but they're very happy. They take the whole tank, the babies, you can see, go right to the bottom, they go right to the top.
Yeah,
they come out, they don't eat their young, which is fantastic. And the colours just, blow my mind.
Yeah, and the other thing that I really like in here is this water sprite.
Yeah, it is. How good does it look in there, huh? And I've just jammed that in the back, and that's been in there, it's probably been a month. It loves it. It doesn't, you'll see I've got it all over the place. It goes nuts. One tiny little piece, you'll get a plant out of. You know, every time it breaks out, like everything that's floating in there that you see, they're all little plants.
Yeah, that's going to grow.
Of the water sprite. You just pull those out, you got, you know, your next aquascape there.
And then the Amazon swords look good too.
Amazon swords, yeah.
But yeah, it's a really neat little tank actually.
I spend a lot of time sitting where you are.
Yeah, just
doing this with Ziggy,
yeah,
except chasing the ball.
Yeah, yeah. Can totally understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I might want to get like a pair or so.
Oh, for sure, dude. I'll give you a little colony. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll give you some of the bubbies to take home with you today.
Yeah, that'll
We
be
take
fun.
a school up, and then we've got to save this line and actually get it out to hobbyists. So, you know, I mean, this, if it is the best Gadiids we've ever seen, then we need to make sure that they survive, and then, you know, hopefully in a few years' time they'll just be normal. You know, seeing Gadiids of that quality. You know, if you could sell them through, if you could breed them in your back room as a project because you love them, and then sell them through the shop, they're not available anywhere. Like they are really hard to get. And then I was stoked. I actually was going to pay, I think the asking price, and Edwin's a lovely guy. He just said, listen, I was going to pay the asking price for 6 of them, right, and bring them back and breed them. And he goes, he said, I've seen you on your channel and I want these, you know, to go to someone good. I said, well, he said, do you want to catch them up? And I said, oh yeah, I'll catch them up. And he said, there's some babies in there. I said, no problems, I'll get around the babies. He said, no, I want you to take the babies. I said, okay, well, how many do you want me to take? He said, the whole tank. He just, because he's got birches that are this long, he didn't want to be into the smaller fish, and he wanted them to go somewhere that, you know, and he's had them for 10 years. So this is a quarantined, isolated line for 10 years.
A good line.
So
she's about to pop too, that big
guy. So you're going home with some of them today?
Yeah, that'd be cool. Thanks,
and you too, Harlan, if you want some?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That'd be fun, yeah. Cool. All right. Well, I guess that completes these.
Yeah,
tanks.
that's that one rack.
Yeah.
You see what they're like when they're hungry.
Yeah, they do like the bug.
Yeah, I'll just put some in for the shop.
Oh man, the colour.
Crazy, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right. Well, do you want to go have a look at these then? So, I do love these tanks. They always look so stunning.
I'll just finish on the 8-footer and these 6 for you, just to show you what I was talking about with it doesn't have to be brain surgery when you set up the water change system. So all I've got is a really old hose, you know, connection with the 4 outlets. That one's on for the main tank. I can turn this one on for these 6, but even if I just fill the 8-footer, because it's a circulating system. So for me, that's the other side. This one here is the 8-footer. So I put that on, for example, for 15 minutes.
So it's just a garden timer.
Garden timer, and that's it. That's my my water change system. So now that's changing water in that whole system, and 15 minutes, and it'll turn itself off, and it actually overflows out onto the grass as well. So I don't have to. So that's now water change done for the week, or for the. You can do it every couple of days if you're going to put it on for 15 minutes 3 times a week is pretty good. Sometimes if it needs a change, I'll put it on for 30 minutes, you know, and just let it rush through. It also, because it's cold water, it comes through my whole house is filtered.
Yeah.
So no fluoride, chloramines, chlorine. So it goes through the filtration. So any tap anywhere I can fill up, or a tub or a tank with it as well. So that one's running. That's how that one works.
And like for everyone at home, so it's a system of dilution. So basically, it's like an irrigation system, kind of like, it's like watering your plants.
It is, yeah. So I've just used garden hose to connect to the black 3/4 irrigation pipe, and then I've used 4 mil tubes, usually just for you know, for the airline. So everything I do is irrigation pipe and pipe work available from Bunnings or the the big box stores and so forth.
And basically it overflows. It just
out.
dilutes the water.
Totally. So it's putting fresh water in at one end, and it pushes all of the old water out at the other end. So in theory, it mixes as it goes through. And usually the clarity of the water is when I'll decide to turn it off, you know, if I want it to be clearer. So I've given this 15 minutes a night for the last 3 nights. That's all. And the water's, you know, about how it normally is.
And it means you can keep up on, you know, the maintenance of these super easy. So
yeah,
if you do want to do something like this, planning it out goes a long way. Like people and ah about drilling their tanks.
Oh, it's so worth it.
Dude.
Yeah, it's worth the effort. Even if you break a couple on it, and I have, but it's worth it. Like ultimately the time that it saves you in just having to do water changes and those sorts of things.
We were talking about that last night. Remember when we were talking about like how the setup of the shop took like 6-7 months, and it was a pain in the butt doing all the painting and all the plumbing and all that?
Yeah.
But now it's like I can't imagine it being any other way.
No.
Like all automatic water changes, all painted.
Oh, I couldn't.
So for filming, it's like perfect.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, I couldn't keep this fish room going if I had to do individual water changes, you know.
yeah.
No way, no.
See, now they're eating the green. Now they're all out. Hey, smashing it.
Yeah, there's still a few more to come out.
I know. Yeah.
If I turn that light off, that would
When we do the B-roll tonight, they'll all be out. So
yeah.
Cool. All right. So this tank.
All right. That's just a like a grow out tank. It's got some mutt guppies and one lone maculatus rasbora. I've only stuck them in there a couple of weeks ago just because I didn't want to cull them. There's a few bent spine guppies and stuff.
A sparkling gourami.
Yeah, so the sparkling gouramis are the babies that I bred, so there should be a dozen in there. They are elusive, and they come from this tank here.
Yeah.
Which that one is it was set up specifically for them to breed. So I've got two. I think we worked out they were Borneo loaches in there.
Yeah.
And it looks like male and female. They're two very distinctive shapes. And then again, they might even come out now. Actually, I'll put some bug buffer. Yeah, they're pretty personable. They do like to hide, of course. But I had two males and a female. They obviously paired up. The lone male went up under the rocks and the sponge filter behind there, and then they bred. And then I let them. They probably had 3 spawns before I took another one of their spawns out, the 4th one out. So there's maybe two different sized babies in there, and then there might be 3 really, but I've actually got one of the spawns out, which is these guys over there, and I've got the 10 or 12 of them in there. They were almost without doubt the hardest fish that I've ever had to raise. And I don't think I could do it without green water and the really good supply of green water that I've got. They are just so tiny when they come out. They are microscopic almost.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never bred these, but I played around with some tiny fry, and yeah, that green water is such a long way.
It saves your ass.
I probably don't use enough of it, to be honest.
And it's so easy. I mean, A, it's free, and B, you just leave it outside.
Yeah.
You don't do it. And then C, you'll get mosquito larvae in it.
Yeah.
So I use it. I'll show you the bucket that I use outside when it comes to feeding. But I'm super stoked with those babies to get them to that size. That was an effort for me, and it's always rewarding when you breed a fish that is difficult.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah, any challenge is rewarding.
For sure. I'm going to pop a little bit of bug buffer in because I think they'll
see if
come
you
out.
can get them to come out.
Because the parents are pretty spectacular.
The tank just does look so cool as well.
Thank you.
Like that Java fern there.
Yeah, I love the way that they bunch up and become that mass,
shrub.
that ball type thing.
Yeah, and then you got the Rickia, not the Rickia,
Sawasatang.
Yeah.
So there's one of my babies. Yeah, he was one of the little ones. Cool. I'm trying to. Well, I'm not trying. It's actually doing it. Is to grow a Sawasatang bridge.
All right. Yeah.
And what I love about Sawasatang is you really don't need to do too much. It doesn't care whether. Again, I've done another video on a species, a plant profile on Sawasatang. I've got it in high light, I've got it in no light, I've got it in high flow, no flow, I've got it with oxygen, without oxygen. I can't kill it. It's an incredible plant, and I just think probably underutilized because people have to. Yeah, it's quite expensive to buy a little chunk of it.
Yeah.
But if you do what I do, which is stick that little chunk into a white bucket with some fish water, with a white lid, and stick it out in the sun, you'll come back and it'll go from a golf ball size to a tennis ball size to a soccer ball size.
And it's like a weird looking one where it looks kind of kelpy.
I love it.
Algae-like, plant-like.
So I've got one tank up the top, which I'll show you. I've got my red guppies in, which have just gone in there lately. But it was growing vertically like kelp, and it was 2 inches long, and it literally looked like kelp. It was at no light, 0 light above it.
The other thing that I think is cool is this branch that comes in
Yep.
that goes around.
Yeah, I like the way the pothos is, and that's natural,
Yeah.
but it's done that.
So
I've just sort
neat.
of moved it. But again, it's that blending the tank, and you'll see the rocks I've got it on the top up there. In fact, let me get you something to stand on.
Sure.
Actually, I'll get your ladder for safety's sake, because, I've tried to just sort of disguise the sponge filter. There's only 2 rocks I've got to, or maybe
Yeah.
3 that I've got to take to get the sponge out. So it's actually
So
quite a
while he's out
a
there,
solid
it's the Borneo.
structure. But it's just blending the tank there as well. And I use, I just make my own airlift tubes to sort of supercharge the sponge filters. And then that gives the directional flow. I know it's like what Corey's done with aquarium co-op stuff now, but you know, I've been using them for years just with the PVC pipes and stuff. And in fact, you'll see over on the top of this tank.
Dude, look at the Borneos out too.
Oh yeah, good.
Yeah. Cool fish, aren't they?
Great fish.
I wish they were easier to breed. But
Why are they so difficult to breed in comparison to the
Swellias, like the hill stream loaches?
Yeah, the hill streams.
I got no clue. Because, like, I think maybe, like, I think we talked about this last time, but I think they might need, like, a hormone from, like, another fish. Yeah. And they're just stupid, like, hard to breed. I've never met someone who bred them.
No.
So.
Well, that tank's always pretty clean. They do a great job at keeping the algae down, like, amazing.
Definitely.
As good as a Pleco.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it is cool that the tank's got the, like, this is filtered by a sponge filter, but it looks super high tech because you've hidden it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, yeah. And then the other tank, so that's my Apistogramma tank. There's no Apistos, there's no fish in there at the moment. It's probably, I guess it's now about 72 hours old since the rescape. And again, I've just done a video on this particular setup of this tank, but I've just got to put the fish in it and then I'll get it out. But I've got maybe a dozen of the Borellii that I bred. Mm-hmm. They're in the tank. I'll show you over there, my secret hidden tank that I forget about. So it was covered in duckweed and it looked terrible. So I just pulled it all out and I just sort of wanted to show that you can take a disgusting tank, keep the plants that you've got or add some other ones in there, clean it up, and you can actually put the effort in. And for $0, using the scape that I had, I've got that result. Dude, which I thought was pretty good. Cool.
And like the lucky bamboos out the top.
Yeah, it was lacking something at the top, that blending. So the fake plants at the top looked fake.
Yeah.
So by doing that and then bringing them forward, so with the perspective of anything when you're doing gardening or doing aquascaping or any type of design, it's got to cover all of those angles. You know, from wherever you look at it, you shouldn't be able to see more than three. You shouldn't have 3 plants in a row if you look down at any particular angles, like a bonsai style. So using odd numbers, using irregular placements makes them look natural. And then I wanted to blend, again, because it's glass at the back, you could just see the straight, all the fake plants. But once you put the other plants in front of it, your attention's drawn to the front of the plants, not the background, which is now just blends in as it could be painted, for example, you wouldn't know. It is just part of it. But you'll see that if you climb back up there again, you'll see at the top how I've just watched stick your eye with them. See the sponge filter with the high flow on it. So I've just put that on there. And again, it's as simple as throwing some moss on, some bark out of the garden, and then that will grow and cover it and look natural, and everyone will say that's an amazing, piece of art, and it is, but it's so simple. It's nature's art. You just have to put it in a position where it can get some water, and nature will do the rest of it.
Yeah, it's so well hidden. And I also love the little branch.
Yeah, that was from my farm. That was in the back of the ute, and I went, oh, that's perfect. So this stuff is a lichen, a natural growing one here, and then this stuff here is the Spanish moss. I put that on it just from out in the garden. I thought it would look cool, and because the humidity in here, it doesn't take a whole heap of water, so I'll just hit that with a spray bottle.
Yeah, it's just like any old Tillandsia, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a cool plant.
And then down here is the I'll get that out of the way. So it's a grow out tank. So everything in there was my babies, except I was given those rainbows, in fact, by the same subscriber as the blackline tetras. They're the Parkinsonii. I think I'm not sure what this one is. I do.
Looks like an eastern or a deep. No, it looks like a deep water creek or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I do have the name somewhere. That he gave me, and he gave me some Australis, and I think there was one called
this might be an Australis actually.
Miss Liptor or something, or another one as well. So I've got a few more. I spread them out.
Yeah.
I tried to get the species. These are the ones that we looked at with Eric and Regina that were in the tub over there when you came and visited, and I said they're all mixed, and I didn't know which was which. So I've finally, as they're doing what they're doing, you work out the colours for the males. They're crimson spots as well, so they're just normals. But I've got 6 of my baby electric blue acaras in there. There's probably a dozen of my beta babies, but the rainbows doing what they're doing, all the betas hide under the Sawassa tank.
Yeah.
I've probably got, I don't know, 30 or 40 cories in there. In fact, if I put that out, those cories will definitely come out, and these rainbows will eat. They'll eat any time. It doesn't matter how much you feed this tank. They're always hungry. See if I can maybe even get a bit of a spotlight going on that as they do, a little bit steady.
You can see that orange coming out there in the Parkinsonis. And then the cories.
Cories, yeah, they coming out. There should be at least 30, 35, 40, something like that. I just keep putting.
I love how heavily you feed.
Oh, and that's not heavy. That's just that's a snack. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Acaras should look good under that light.
Yeah, they do. The other thing too, people are going to be confused about is seeing all the bettas in here, like all together. I think because there's so much plants, they can do it.
Yeah, well, they're the same spawn.
Yeah.
So they have grown up together. But I don't sort of subscribe to bettas can't go with other fish.
Or even other bettas sometimes.
Yeah, other bettas. If your tank's big enough and you've got enough room, they just naturally, I mean, in the wild, they don't kill each other when they see each other every time.
What I was about to say, yeah.
You know, so they get their territories, they get their areas. You know, you do get a couple that might just keep fighting till one of them carks it, but you know, that's just the way that goes. I don't have enough. I don't like to cup them, that's for sure.
No.
And I want to. I'm going to sell all those when I get rid of all of the other fish in the tubs as well. So pretty much everything there is for sale. The rainbows I thought I might take down to Ross, you know, his display tank in his shop down there.
Yeah, he
in
might
the
want
top.
it. Yeah.
So because I've only got the 2 males there, and in fact the other rainbows are males as well. I've got no females of the 4 types that he gave me, other than the crimson spots, of course.
Yeah.
But I think they look great in his tank down there. It's perfect. It's a perfect rainbow tank.
Definitely.
They deserve a good show, don't they?
And then this thing.
Oh, so that's, yeah, one of them, the fry rack. So I've got 6 of those I made up. I just got the $3 plastic fridge containers from Kmart, and I just drilled a 38mm hole in the back here, put a sponge in it, and then there's a little pump that runs off this manifold down in here, and then I can so I can direct the flow, you know, and it sort of slows stuff down if I needed to. But at the moment, I've got... I'm midway through shooting a breeding Corydoras video. That's the one I was working on when you and Eric and Regina again came and visited. I thought, well, I'll just show how I breed Corydoras, and that's pretty much what I've done. And surprisingly, I figured, you know, I'd do some water change and put some fish in, but when I spread those rainbows out, I think they're Australis in over the top of them, and the day that I put them in there, they just went nuts and bred. So it was like it was a hierarchy change. It was also having fish above them as the dither fish. You know, it was really weird. And I thought, you know, there's probably a dozen or more eggs, and I pulled them off thinking that they were the albinos, and it turns out they were the black Venezuelans.
Nice.
So yeah, that was the first time in a few years I bred the black Venezuelans. But how weird, putting rainbows above the cories made them breed.
Yeah.
I didn't do a water change, I didn't do any.
Yeah. Yeah, just that switch up.
It was the next day, eggs.
Yeah. And so the baby's in here?
Yeah, so I'll grab a torch. I haven't looked at them for ages. I'm hoping that there's still some in there.
It's like so interesting to see the way you're doing this versus the way Dean was doing it. Like,
so
this is like more natural.
Yeah, so I've got Sawasatang, a few rocks. I can see one of the cories over there now.
Yeah, yeah.
Up on the rock, there's a couple at the back there as well. So I'll just...
And the idea here is just to have it like, so that the cories are confined to a certain amount of space. It makes it easier for them to feed. And
yeah, can you see them ripping around in there?
Yeah.
Some water sprite. Yeah. I'll take it out, it's alright, Ellie. This Sawasatang is...
you can see the occasional cory there.
Yeah, look, little black ven.
Yeah, nice.
Isn't that cool?
I never had success with them, so that's pretty awesome. Dude.
There you go. So, and then I've just got an air stone running in there as well. So when I put so what I do is I collect the eggs off of the glass or wherever they happen to be, and then I don't even necessarily stick them to the walls or anything. I just shake them off into this. I have Sawasatang in there already. I have some water sprites and rocks to sort of give them, because again, if the eggs go under the rocks, then the babies will actually have a spot where the water keeps them hidden, and then it also pushes the food to them. And then I basically get I'll get some of the bug buffet, and then So what I'll do is I'll crush it up in my hand a bit first, and I'll get it quite milky, and then I just push it. You see there, just under the flow.
Yeah, I do that too.
So it just milks up, and it'll go anywhere that the water is flowing, which of course where the babies or the eggs or the fry will be.
Yeah.
And then that's it. I do feed green water to it in the first. So I'll put the eggs in there. I won't put anything in there for 3 days as far as food's concerned. And then after that, the 4th day, I'll put some green water in, a really decent amount. And I bring it up to room temp as well because it's outside and it's cold. So I leave it sitting in here for, the night. The next morning, I'll just flood that thing with green water, and then I'll do that pretty much every day for a week. But halfway through that, I'll add some of that milky consistency bug buffet and anything that I think that they need. And then as they get older, I use the baby brine shrimp because they'll swim around for ages. So anything that's dead floats to the live ones goes to the top. The other ones sink to the bottom. They eat them, and then it might take 2 hours for the others that are swimming around to die. So if I'm away for the day, if I feed baby brine shrimp in the morning, they'll feed on that till lunch at least.
That's the best life hack about baby brine shrimp. You do get a longer feed if you can feed quite a big amount of it.
Yep.
So you just host that over here, hey?
I do, yeah. That's 30 something hours that's been going for.
Yeah.
The way I've set my room up too, because we had a really massive storm at Christmas which wiped out. We had no power for 10 days.
Yeah.
So I've got a generator set out the back with a main lead that runs in, and I actually plug it into these main points here, and it actually powers the whole room. So I don't have I have air running the whole time. I actually can run the sumps off the generator, believe it or not. I've only got the 2 pumps in there, and the majority of the lights. He looks good when he's out there now.
Yeah, the 2 of them.
That's mum and dad.
Yeah. That's so cool.
The Borneo loaches have that little blue flash on their tail. How beautiful is that?
So cool.
Yeah.
It's so cool. Yeah, I might need to get some more Borneo loaches. It's hard for me to justify because, like, I enjoy breeding fish so much. Sometimes it's hard to justify getting fish that you can't really breed.
Yeah.
But that's such a silly mindset sometimes because, like, they are so cool.
You could do it and just in your fish room that you're setting up in your house and just have a Borneo tank. Just go nuts with it. Big
Chuck 'em
high
in
flow.
streams.
Wait till you see the size of the pump I put on my other waterfall over there.
Yeah, you want to go have a look?
Yeah, well, we've got 2 more here if you want to keep going.
Oh, do we? Oh, yeah, we got the bowls.
So this one, this is a project. I'm proving that you don't need light to grow Suwasatang.
Yeah, I think we were doing that last time too.
Yeah. So, well, it had stripe, I think, in it. The father of the betas.
Yeah.
But I'm pulling this tank down. I'm going to lacquer the wood. I'm going to do a whole shrimp tank. I'm going to do all the under gravel filter and all the rest of it. But
yeah,
it's just All right. So this one is it's just an orange Neocaridina tank.
Yeah.
But it's one of the Aqua One bio sort of setups. They have filters and sponges and stuff. I pull all that out, and I just set up. You can have a look around the back there, probably with the way that it comes through all the bio media. I've got 2 sponges in here, and it pretty much just looks after itself. I do basic water changes on it. Everything in there I've set up. So, like out of the top, for example, some water sprite and bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Altananthera. This is Anubius. Coming out the top there.
How neat.
And then I'm not sure of the name of this one. This was one Matt Duffy gave me. But it's flowering. Look how beautiful that is.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Isn't
That's
amazing?
so cute.
Flowers inside.
Yeah. And the flower's that tiny?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like a nano flower for a nano tank.
That's so cool.
I think they said that was Christmas moss.
Yeah.
And then this is the same stuff growing out of the water over here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty... I actually don't do a whole heap of maintenance on the scapes when I set them up, but this one I like to keep on to. I like the way, because again I have a blue light on of a night time, different sorts of lights, but when I want to give it some
real good
juice,
yeah,
I can move that down there, and then that basically encourages them all to go. I mean, the Bucephalandra's flowering down there.
Yeah.
The micro or the mini Java fern I love. You see the little shrimp on that one there now. They just clean it all day. It's just like there's so many spaces for food.
And then even the rose and maiden crypt down here. I love these little ones.
Looking good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
The boost looks amazing.
And the purple in the boost there.
Oh.
And the nana. And then that's just one log that I got off out the back there, and then I think I did a video on this on how I set it up and what I did, but the areas that I wanted to fill visually but actually have space for the shrimp, I've used tang on the side there and also on the side over here, and it allows that to look full, but it also has so many spaces for baby shrimp to go into, and hide all the shrimplets, and it's never boring. I love the tank, and one of the things I do, so I don't do CO2 in the room at all, but this tank I've been putting CO2 in by just buying bottles of soda water, and then I get this tank I do 50 mil, and I put 50 mil into the cup, and then I just tip it into it.
Just pour soda water in there.
Yeah. So I worked it out. I did 10 mil risers to work out where I get it to pearl, and then if you go over, and shrimp are fine with.
Dead set. You just pour soda water in.
So I just put soda water into it, and it just it goes nuts. It'll pearl like normal.
Yeah.
And then so you do it in the morning, because you can't, if you put CO2 in at night time, it'll kill whatever. It kills not only the plants but the shrimps, because it takes up the plants don't take it up.
Okay.
So you put it in the morning, really high light, and then away it goes. And I put liquid fertilizer in there, that Flourish or whatever it is, that I put 1 drop in a month. Maybe I don't want to it doesn't need it doesn't look like it's lacking, so I don't want to over fertilize it. I've got the balance right, and the soda water is just like a vitamin boost, almost, if you want to think of it in that. It just fires it. So once you see it pearling, but do it in small amounts. I'll tell you a story. So I've been doing this for years with the soda water, right? So I'd say it'd be more than 20 years. So I had a 2-litre bottle of soda water. I'd set up a fish tank at my missus' kindergarten, and it was a goldfish tank, and the kids loved it, and there was big goldfish all through it. And I had some plants, I had a load of. I said to my missus, listen, this 2 litres, just put a cup in, every couple of hours in the daytime for a few days, and it'll take it up, and the plants will go great. So she goes to work, rings me about 2 hours later, and said, help, all the fish are dead, they're all floating on top. And I'm like, what did you do? She said, I just tipped the soda water. And I said, how much? She said, all of it. So she killed 10 of the 12 goldfish, I think. I said, get them out, put them into some buckets of water, even though it had chlorine in it. It's better than where they were. But I ended up saving 2 of them, and then one of them was the black moor that lasted for more than 20 odd years.
Did you starve it?
Oh, when I took the tub down, he wasn't in there, so okay. But yeah, he was 20-something years old, and I know that because I know the classroom she was in. We know the time that she was there. But yeah, so you need to be careful, because if you put too much in, you will kill your fish. There's no doubt about it. But it works. It's just the same as any other CO2 system, And a bottle, at the moment, 1.25 mils of liters of soda water is about $1.
Yeah.
So cost effectiveness is pretty good.
Exactly.
And I'll use that bottle until it's, it gets about down to the bottom third, and the degassed, it's not so strong. So you can actually put more in.
Yeah.
But I do that because I've been doing it for a while. So there's a disclaimer there.
But also, it's heaps of people have those soda streams anyways.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We've got one upstairs. The girls use it all the time. I'm just too lazy.
Yeah.
I just buy it and keep it in the cupboard and tip it in when I'm good. But that's one of my favorite tanks. I spend a lot of time. I wasn't sure about the carpeting plant.
Dude, I love it. I was going to say something about it.
Yeah, there you go. It took me a while to get used to the green down there, because it was I had all my river pebbles in there. And
so this is Monte Carlo, is it?
I think it is.
Yeah.
I think it is, yeah. I always get confused between Monte Carlo and baby tears.
Yeah. Yeah. Or the other one's HC Cuba, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But cool.
I thoroughly enjoyed that tank.
All right. Do you want to go have a look at these ones, dude? All right. Should I sneak in?
Yeah, you go first. Yeah. So that is my Dennison barb, Corydoras, and my, at the moment, housing my red Irian rainbows, what's left of them.
Yeah.
I tried to breed those guys outside this year.
Didn't work?
Didn't work, and I think I learned a heap, though, which is the whole purpose of doing it and filming it.
Yeah.
And I think that, like we just talked about with the Corys, I think they need a companion fish.
Sure.
And everything I've seen when I've done my research on the Dennison is that they are always seen with filament barbs, always in the wild. So for me, and I used to have tons of them, as you know, I bred them for ages, but I don't have any filament barbs. So I'm actually going to do another 8-foot tank over here, which I'll explain to you when we get over there. I'm going to put in another 2 8-foots, a 6-foot, and probably 4 or 5 3-footers.
Huh.
So by the time you come back, that'll all
done,
be in there.
hopefully. Yeah.
So I'm going to breed, I'm going to do a specific species, well, it's not species only, I'm going to do a specific area only of fish. So I'm going to put the Dennisons, the filament barbs, take the cories out and set up a tank. And I'm actually thinking of maybe even half filling the tank, because everywhere I've seen them, they're in like 3 and 4 inches of water, which is why they're so fast, of course. Same as the Danios and all the rest of it. They come from 2 inches of water, which is why they're super fast to get away. These guys, you'll see when we feed them, they are amazing fish when they get going. So I really want to try to get them going. I've got the chap that who I got the Gadids off has got some Dennisons up there. I'd like to maybe get 2 or 3, or he's got in there. I'd get those guys and anyone else that's got some larger ones, put some fresh bloodlines in, put them in there with filament barbs and just see how I go, you know.
Yeah.
People have done it. So there've been accidental breedings of these fish in aquariums, but no one's ever documented or actually said why.
Yeah.
And I put 170 cories in there.
Nice.
Yeah, so there's 160 stir-bys and 10 or 12 albinos, but I know they've been breeding in there as well. So what I did with that tank, have a look at the, if you look where your hands are, see on the ground, on the floor of the tank, it's black, like the mold growing over it. That's because of the, if you look up at the top now, the waterfall coming in. I'll get you something to stand on too. But you see the flow I've got coming in there?
Yeah.
So it's pushed all that sand up like a sandbank.
Yeah, it's come.
And then it's got, and see how it's that where the cories are on the top of that sandbank there, and that all that green is on the bottom, so it doesn't look like a bare tank either.
No, it doesn't. No, I didn't even notice it.
It's
really.
awesome, huh?
Yeah.
I'll put that big ladder up for you. That one, if you ever look at that while I do that, that's the canister filter that runs it, the aqua one. So that gives me a pretty decent flow. But then I've also got quite a large filter under this ball of moss. I'll get out of the way so you can get up. It's a bit tight up there.
That's right. Okay, get up here.
Yep. So if you keep going up, you see how it's all...
Oh, wow.
Just like my little secret
Yeah.
waterfall.
Wow.
And it's smashing the water through, and they love it.
Yeah, it's neat.
You'll see them all come out when we feed them.
Do you want to feed them?
Yeah, if you want to put some in. Man, he gets himself into some amazing positions. Like
Yeah, look at him.
Yeah.
Perched up.
Oh, he's a character, that's for sure. All right, you watch these guys go.
Oh, hell yeah. Look at that.
Don't they look good?
Yeah.
And they're not camera shy anymore.
No. Oh, look at the Cory army.
Yeah, they'll be out. And I individually counted them. I think that was a video that I did with Katie, and we caught them all up, and there was 169, and then I found a few others out there as well.
The retail value of this tank.
Yeah. So these are my Lake Tanganyikan purple Leilupi. So you can see the colours these guys go over here when they're in display mode. So you've got, I think that might be a couple of girls that you're filming there. So this is definitely a girl on the sponge filter, and definitely a boy on the sponge filter as well. They're 2 boys above there. So when they're in breeding mode, they go that purple colour, which is extremely unusual. I haven't seen them anywhere. I've got 2 tanks of them. This is one breeding group. The other breeding group is a younger one now, because the older ones have died out, but I've still got some young ones in there. And surprisingly, they threw a canary yellow one. For the first time in, like, I don't know, I'm going to say 10 years that I've been breeding them, I got the first real canary yellow one out of it. So they're an awesome fish. The tank, or the sump down here, has got, it has multifasciatus living in there. It has yellow, they're probably not going to come out because of the light, but there's yellow Pseudotropius celosi, there's an Ornoata pinus down there, I think there's a Pleco. So they've just washed through into those sorts of things and living in there. So I actually feed that tank every night like a tank, because there's at least a dozen fish in there. Yep.
Yeah.
While you're down there, over behind you is this is my secret tank, but you'll see when
Dude, nice.
they any of the colours in there? Can you see the colours on the?
You can see them, yeah.
Yeah, so they're the Borellii, and they're a beautiful apistogramma.
They are.
So they're going into that tank that I just rescaped up the top. So we might have to get some B-roll or better shots of those. But I thought there was only half a dozen in there left, but I actually counted 12 the other day. So I'm not sure I'll put 12 in that tank. I might, just because they're all living together in that one, which is half the size. They've all grown up together. But I think I'll probably separate them out, at least one pair, and have a breeding group. And in fact, my neighbour has got a tank, that size tank over there, that I could probably put a pair over there and get him to do all the work to breed them.
Do you remember when last time we were filming, I think there was a spider like there?
Yeah, there was. And look, funny enough, there's one down there now. I actually thought, I didn't pick that one up.
The dead one?
Yeah, I didn't pick him up because he looked a bit like a funnel web.
Yeah.
He's dead now. But yeah, funny you should say that.
Maybe it's the same spider.
Yeah, it could be. This tank here, if she comes out, she's not on the out during the day. Where is she? Oh, there's Splash. So this is my candy beta. I'll get her some food because she loves it.
You can tell, dude, she's massive.
Yeah, so she's the mum of all the betas over here, and yeah, she's my friend. She, like all betas, they're very. Oh, I'm scared with the camera being there, but she's actually a really cool, personable fish. Yeah, she's not happy.
Yeah, she's wigging hard.
Wigging out. Yeah. The two of us there with the camera when she's
of course.
asleep. We'll get
because she's wigging, we'll get some good colour.
True.
Look at that.
Yeah, she was obviously asleep. She might be awake now. If not,
she's a heifer too, hey?
She is. She's a big girl. But that's a little biosystem. See how I've got all the roots and stuff. I'd probably do this tank because there's no fish in it. But it's one of those beta prisons that had the 3. In fact, that's one there that I haven't prepared earlier.
Yeah.
It's how it's in there, and it's got all the bio sections at the back. So I just run an air filter through it, so like a bio filter, and it just draws the water through. That's just a normal uplift tube. That's just 1/2-inch irrigation tube from Bunnings. I've got a 90-degree elbow, put down a riser, and then as it draws the water up, it draws through. I've got sponge in here, and then biofilter stuff in here and all the roots that go with it. But look at the way the crypt's growing in there. This is my Tetra breeding project in my last video. It'd be hard to see because they're black Tetra, but basically all I've done is I've dropped some spider plants, and they've got a rock pile over here. Oh, there's some at the back there. So
LRB style?
LRB patented rock pile. And then I put the plants in because that's where they breed in nature and up amongst the reeds and everything when it floods. I've got some sawasatang stuck into the rocks down there, and then under here is all leaf litter. That's basically, see all the leaves?
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. So they hide in here particularly, and I think it's natural behavior because it's, it seems to be, but they'll essentially spend most of their time in this section. And then when these lights come on of a morning into here, you can see one of these guys down here. He's got a gold head, so that little gold spot on, they're called golden head black neon tetras. And they'll race out into that one section of light, and you can see them spawn over the, I think they're spawning over the sawasatang in there.
Yeah.
So what will happen now, I've got 10 in there, I'm going to leave them for 2 weeks, and then I'm going to pull them out, and then I'm going to treat that tub as though it's full of eggs and babies, and green water it up, and then in theory I should have some babies out of it.
That'd be kind of cool. That's a really neat way of breeding them, hey?
Yeah, I think it's as natural as I could make it in a plastic tub.
Yeah, definitely.
These guys you won't see. We might get some B-roll, but they're in hibernation mode almost at the moment. They're the Darwin crabs.
Yeah.
And because it's cold, even though it's not really cold in this room, so they go right up the back behind the sponge. Oh, there's one there dug into the sand. See if I can get him from this angle for you. Is that better?
Yeah, I can see that.
So yeah, they really don't do much in winter from what I can tell. They've definitely slowed down, and I'm only feeding the tank probably, I'd say 2 to 3 times a week now, whereas they would be literally coming out of the water to take the food out of my hands during summertime.
Yeah, they're hibernating for sure. Yeah.
Just slow moving. And then I had a blue Marin here, but he died the other day. So this is probably something you could take these look pretty good. So the Mickey Mouse Platies, they're really well defined. I haven't found any as well defined of those since, and I think it's about 30 odd in there. They hide a lot up the back. These guys will come out for food, I reckon. I've also got, I think the Trilineatus.
Yeah, this is like that big rock wall that we talked about last time.
Yeah,
quite a bit.
that's right. And they hide up the back, unfortunately, behind it, which is both good and bad.
Yeah.
But they'll come out for the food. That's for sure. Like all platies.
Yeah.
They're a little bit flighty, but when food's around, they're not.
It's a cool way to look at the tank though, like.
Yeah, yep. And I
Through this
designed
end.
it from both sides as well, so you could actually see through it. Similarly with this tank up here. And
Oh,
now
what?
it's dirty with what we did with the before, but then and you get that shot of the waterfall coming in.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I
they love
purposely
it.
left the ends of my tanks at home not painted,
Yep.
so I could do that too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, look at the action you miss if you didn't see it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like, I mean, they're just going nuts,
Yeah, it's cool.
and they stir it all up, and it doesn't take long with a filter for that to clean up though, with a canister filter, and
No.
they just love the flow. Look at them up there in the flow at the moment. The Dennison barbs, they're just
Yeah.
in there playing, you know.
Smash 'em. Dude.
So
cool.
that's those ones. This is another one I've got for the Cory breeding video. Is I'll grab my torch again. So
Yep.
I deliberately don't have lights on this. I thought about putting a spotlight here, and shining it down, but Corys don't care. They're all male endlers above. These are panda Corys.
Yeah.
There's a few over here actually. Can you see them down there? From the top actually. Yeah, you see them there.
Yeah, I can see like a
So,
Cory there, yeah.
These guys, I forget how many, I think maybe 20-ish, and I just put them in there. Same sort of thing as the Tetras, but larger rocks, and then I've got more Sawasatang in there, some timber for them to get under, and all of this, I put all of this on top. This is again how I grow the lace plant, but it basically is something for them to sort of get into and rip around and hide the eggs and stuff that they do. And then there's enough rocks and timber, etc., for them to go underneath. So I'll do similarly with these guys. I'll probably pull them out and then just leave that tank grow and see what comes of it. There's a Cory in the rock down there.
Oh yeah, I see it. They're so popular, panda Corys. If someone's watching this and wants to breed something for profit, I
Yep.
reckon panda Corys.
I agree. And they're not hard to breed. They
No.
do have way less eggs though. So, you know, whereas a normal Cory you might get, you know, maybe 10, 15, 20 eggs on that. These guys I find will be 4 or 5 eggs. I don't see many. Yeah.
Dude, I was getting 200 a day.
Wow.
In my 2 breeding colonies.
Did you have like spawning mops in for that?
Yeah, so it was literally just a 2-foot tank with spawning mop.
Yeah.
And just tons of blackworms.
Yeah, wow.
And just,
Well, yeah.
Permanent spawning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've just got a heap of blackworms going at the moment, so I'll drop them in there as well.
But yeah.
These are just grow out tanks.
Mm-hmm.
24 karat gold guppies
Classics.
in there.
And Irian red rainbows.
There are a few. I think there's 3 of the Irian reds in there, the small size. There's a ton of cherry shrimp in there as well,
Yeah.
which of course will hide this time of day. But yeah, it's just a basic setup, sponge field. I got some nice rock with the colours,
Yeah.
the volcanic stuff out off the farm there, and then I just stick it in, and you know I just weighted that down. There's the cherry shrimp there.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're surprisingly, I've got mostly. Look at how many females I got in there. So there's only 1 male, I think, out of that little group. I know 2. There's one.
These are the ones that I
So-
gave you that time, remember that?
No. Oh yes. They've been mixed. I have, but these ones my males and the females from Matt Duffy,
Okay.
and then these are the spawn from those guys out of there. But yeah, they're always. I mean, I got tons and tons and tons of these guys, as you'll see. Next one over, just white cloud minnows. I bought them because I love them. They were on. They were in from a shop, which is why they're not outside. I've got mother mountain minnows outside, but these guys, I just didn't want to stick them outside. I hate the cold, and I thought I'd leave them in here. I'm going to do the same thing. I've got a heap of Sawasatang down on the bottom, down there, and all around the other side.
Yeah.
And that's just designed for when I pull them out, we'll catch whatever eggs in there, and I'll probably get, 10, 20, 30.
Well, I just did a video breeding these in a bucket, and that was
How many did you get?
hundreds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous
Yeah,
how
it's
they
so
go.
easy to breed.
They definitely eat their babies.
Definitely.
So-
you thought ahead of me.
Next one over is just grow out for L397s. I'll go the other side, maybe move one of those logs around.
Yeah.
But they're all, they're all just babies in there. You can tell me if any of them start
Oh, dude. There's one under this bottom one, I know. Like, in there. Yeah. But we've seen them earlier in the video, so people know what they look like, I guess. But, so why are you growing them out here? There's a baby here.
Just so I can, you know, when they're on the glass, it's easy to catch them. Oh, there's some in the sponge filter around here.
Yeah.
Yeah, just so it's easier to catch them, you know, on the glass and get them out while they're young, rather than have to pull the tank down. And I've got an order from Ross from RC Aquariums there for, I think, I don't know, half a dozen or more. So I've just been catching them, and then they just they build up in there, and it's easy to sell them out of.
Sure.
Next one.
I got the little Moses in the cradle coming up here. Yeah.
Roeo.
Yeah, that's a cool plant. That one grows so well for me. Like,
yeah,
it's one of the best ones.
I'll show you in the next tank over as we go. They're just baby. There's some Irian red. See the rainbow.
Yep.
In there.
Yep.
There's four or five in there, and then just a heap of growout stir-by Corydoras and Adolphois.
Nice.
Probably 20, I guess.
They're such cute little fish when they're babies.
Aren't they?
Boys.
Yeah. From the top even. Does he look?
Yeah. Cool.
So yeah, that's just a grow out. Another one of them. Speaking of the Roeo.
Whoa, okay, yeah. Wow.
I just have to keep pushing that back.
Yep.
Because it just does that otherwise and shades the tank.
Holy moly.
But that stuff you almost can't kill. Like that, no. I just stuck that into the water, of course, and it grows well out of the water. But see, I've literally seen it thrown onto the concrete and come back in 2-3 weeks, even a month later, and it's growing in the dead leaves that died. So if you have a look here, all I've done is stuck it between the timber and the perspex, no water whatsoever, ever. I haven't watered it, and it's been in there for the same length of time these ones have, which is months and months and months. And it's basically just taking water from the air, or I guess any splash that it gets. And then I've got the rubber tree, the bonsai. I'm trying to get
he's gone nuts too.
Has, huh? And I trim it just to sort of keep the shape and consistency. I mean, I probably need to take off any downward facing branches need to come off for bonsai. And then I've got it split going both ways, but then of course the plants all take over. And I was going to wire it, but I don't need to. But it's in this little pot.
Yeah.
And I used to water it between the two. I haven't been watering this, as you can tell.
Yeah.
But have a look at the roots.
Wow. Yeah.
So they're the roots of the bonsai.
It's cool to like see the bonsai now versus the last time.
And how it grows in.
It's grown quite a lot.
It has, huh?
Yeah.
So this has got my ornate whitefin tetras.
Yeah.
I love that Blixa japonica there. Some really beautiful Congo tetras, if I can get him on the see to your left there.
Yeah. I bred some of these up. They're actually really fun. I'm going to do it again.
Amazing fish.
Yeah.
Just so beautiful in the sunlight.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, those guys, they breed all the time, but of course the eggs, the babies get eaten.
I chose a bad day to wear white pants, so it's just reflecting so bad. Yeah. Oh well, whatever.
And of course I've got Mr. Wendell, who is my Moramid. Now he probably won't come out until tonight when we feed, but he's in amongst all the timber in there, and it's actually hollow through there, so he actually gets inside that whole log, and that's his territory in there. And he's awesome. I love him. He'll come out guaranteed and eat out of my hand tonight when we feed him. And it's the sheriff going off. And then see out the top over there, I've got the Anubias and the Bulbitis growing out the top.
Dude, so
out of water.
Yeah, and this is Anubias too, right?
It is.
Yeah, and this.
And that one. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't it cool?
Yeah, it's super cool, man.
And then this was just one tiny little sprig of a fern that I put in there and thought I'll see how that grows, and it's taken off. And of course
thanks to the floodlights, I reckon. The floodlights just give that daylight spectrum.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it grows plants really well. Mm. I'll have to
just go sort them out.
Yeah.
That's all good. What's he? Look at the mess he made, dude.
Yeah, I know. What are you doing?
The other thing too, I was going to say,
yep,
is I just really do like the little Japanese guys.
Yep. Yep.
Fun little decoration.
Yeah, I try and, again, it's that blending it. I actually wanted to do that Asian theme. And then that just makes it, doesn't it? You know, when you can actually, it's proportion, like the bonsai to the men, having the larger guy at the front with the larger bonsai and the smaller guy further away to give you that perspective of distance. So again, all the stuff I spend that's probably superfluous for most people, but it's just I like to. It's that spatial reasoning thing. If I'm going to have it there, it needs to look like it's natural. If it looks like it's fake, I pull it apart.
Yeah.
Tank at the top is full of just all. You'll see how many sorties I've got, and I got heaps. So that's one of the batches I put in from the pond down the back. These are the guys I like, the kois, which I'm breeding for. So I'm going to get, I don't know, I'd have hundreds and hundreds of them. So I'm going to pull out all the kois. There is a really cool one in there if he's still around. He's 1/3 orange, 1/3 white, and 1/3 black. Oh, that's him. Yeah, it's a herd just there. You see her? He's got the black tail.
Oh, yeah.
Just there.
Am I on the right one?
This little one down here. There she is.
Oh, yeah.
So she's orange, white, and black. And there's a few of them. There's another one at the top, a larger one, but they, yeah, they're a different sort. And I thought, oh, I might try to. Yeah, I know it's hard filming the plants. So,
yeah.
Yeah, I'll pick some interesting versions of them out, and I think I'll just try to breed them. And again, I've got an IBC tub full of them outside. I've got another tub over there full of all the babies. Mm-hmm. That's a Gadiad. That's a female Gadiad. Look how big she is.
Monster.
So I haven't mixed her because that bloodline is so pure. I don't want to screw it up by putting anything else into it. And I've got 4 lacustrous rainbows in there as well. They're really pretty when they get going, as you know. Yes. I kept them apart because they're a breeding group, and I'll put them into a tank of their own. Once I set up this new area that I'm gonna build over here.
Sweet. I can't wait for that. That's gonna be so cool.
That'll be cool, huh?
What about down here?
So yeah, this is another awesome tank. This is my Adolphoi breeding colony, and they breed in there just naturally. I don't do anything. You can see a little baby sort of thing over here.
Yeah.
But I've got 20 really healthy neon tetras. Like I haven't seen any neon tetra disease type thing. There's one with a slightly sort of funny lip, but other than that, everything else in there is perfect. So I'm going to breed these guys.
Yeah.
You can see the females; they're full of eggs, and
oh yeah.
The way I tell, obviously when they're breeding is the females get that sort of shape in their belly.
Yeah.
And then, mate, that's it. I have got a beta in there somewhere. He'll be asleep at the moment because, again, this is the time of day. Usually the lights are off and they're just chilling. There's a little blue beta in there, which you'll see on some B-roll. But I let them breed naturally. They lay, mostly on the plants.
Yeah.
And I'd say, a good third or more of the babies survive. And then if I want to breed them, I just search for the eggs, and then I stick them into the little fry system over there that I've got running, and then do exactly the same thing. I don't change it up for any of the species. And then if I get a dozen eggs, I'm almost certain to get, say, 10 of the babies out to full size. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't know how many's in there. There'd certainly be 20 or 30 plus, maybe 40. I like the size. They get a real defined colour when they're adults like that.
Yeah, they're cool. They are cool. And all the rocks built up at the back looks really nice too.
The Nubius.
So these tubs, what are you doing with these?
So these are just guppies. I'm actually keen to get rid of the tubs off the ground. So these are platinum blue, just babies that I've bred. You can see there's quite a few. They're just growing out in there. And I basically sell all those. It's another tub over there of 24 karat golds.
Yeah, it's quite a...
So,
babies here
I got a ton of them in there. I do like quarantining them, but like again, just how easy they are to breed. There's no air at all in these. I haven't done a water change, and they'd be months and months old. These tubs, because I pulled all the parents were in there. They bred. I pulled the parents out, and then got to that, and that's what's left. Tubs over there. I quite like these ones. These are the Dumbo ears, the tricolours.
Yeah.
In there, if you can, there's some males up the top there.
Yeah.
They're a really pretty fish. I've got some more in the tank up there. I just pull some of the males out and some of the females just to give me a spread. But when they're in the right light, they're pretty spectacular. The next tub over, these are good ones. These are McCoy's Zig. See how painful it is to film with a dog?
Yeah, tell me about it.
So yeah, they're really nice defined. See the females, how well defined the females are?
Yeah.
Which is what I think.
This is exactly what Sam does. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's the exact same.
Yeah.
It just must be a terrier thing.
Spend a third of my time just dealing with him.
Yeah.
just to get stuff done.
It's because they're both puppies too.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, that's those guys. And then while we're down there, so that's a 4 tank rack of shrimp, supposed to be, but I've only got shrimp in one of them. That's my Sawasatang over there. But so I was speaking to your mate Glenn.
Yeah.
And you know how I haven't been able to breed these guys, and you know, we weren't able to sort of really diagnose what it was. And
we were talking about these.
Within 3 minutes, he said, you know, so what substrate are you using? And I said fluval stratum, and he said, oh, there's your problem right there. You need to get that out and put like an ADA.
Yeah.
So I've got no shrimp in the other 3. I'm going to set one tank up again, brand spanking new. They're my fancy red tigers.
Yeah.
And I have bred them once. I did see one baby, but that's literally all I've ever seen. And that baby, I think, is one of those. I think it actually grew up, but that's it. So I think for sure, and that was at the very start. So that means when the soil was being buffered the most.
Yeah.
Come over here. You're in the shot. You're white too. So, but they're huge shrimp. You know, they're definitely you know, a breeding age, breeding size, breeding quality. I think that they're you know, it has to be something, I think, that's simple but fundamental, and that's the soil. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
Glenn is a master shrimp breeder, and I reckon he's nailed it. So again, I'm just doing a video on setting up all those 4 tanks for shrimp and Corydoras specifically.
The crypts are cool too, dude.
Yeah, aren't they growing in well? And like, look how much soil, like next to nothing. They floated for ages until I put rocks on them and did all those sorts of things. But now that root system goes everywhere underneath that soil. So yeah, they're brilliant. That's another Bulbitis in the center there, and then the Sawasatang growing around the side.
Super neat.
So while you're down there to your left, so is the black rose gold. You'll probably see some blues in there as well. I picked the blues out, of course, and
dude, bad day to wear white pants.
yeah. So that's just a breeding tank, and
For blue shrimp.
black and blue. It's more black than blue because in theory I'm supposed to pull the blue out of all of these. But yeah, under the light you can see like that dude there's a really nice blue.
Yeah.
So I'd pull him out, and he goes into the Aquaponics tank up there with all the other blue shrimp on the wall. Zig, come here.
Yeah.
Zig, come here. So we'll do.
Yeah, nice. So it's just a shrimp breeding tank.
Yep.
What's happening here?
So I've got a couple of native gudgeons in here they got given to me, so they're in there. But what's in here is Mr. Bojangles, which is, he will be around. He's a ghost knife.
Oh, right. Ghost knife in a tub.
Mm-hmm. He's good at hiding. He's only little. He's only, you know, a few inches long.
So why is he in here for?
Is he hooked? He might be. Because I haven't got a tank specifically set up for him yet.
Sure.
And I'm looking to, there he is down there, see? So I've had him since he was half that size. And I wanted to get one and grow him out, you know, on the channel. But at the same time, I love them. And he's a moramid, very similar sonar type.
Yeah.
Navigation, all the rest of it. So he is, he was going to go in what is now going to be the Apistogramma tank up there, and then I changed my mind to make it the Apistogramma tank. So he's sort of homeless until I find somewhere, and then that's what I'm doing here. I guess while we're standing here is that, so that gym is going to go. I'm going to sell it, and I want to. I'm going to put an 8-foot tank across the top here, and then an 8-foot tank underneath here. So the Dennison barbs, the filament barbs. Not 100% sure what I'll put into that one. And then keeping that line, I'm going to put a 6-foot tank out here, and then probably 2 3-footers underneath it, not dissimilar to that rack over there. And then that'll leave me the walk space down here. And I'm going to put like a bit of a center island, sort of like a bench like that, but with 2-foot tanks underneath and 2-foot tanks on the top. So I should probably get another maybe 8 2-footers, 2 8-footers, 6-footer, and then 2 3-footers into that area. Mm-hmm. And then that'll allow me to then walk up this side, you know, go around the area. And you know the tank inside that's got the Pseudotropheus solosi in it, the Hoya tank. So it's coming out of there, and it's going to go here.
So you're only going to have tanks in here?
Only tanks in here. Yep.
Yeah.
So then it's just way easier to maintain. But
I
want
can
to
see the negotiation with your wife going down, because I remember when we started,
Yeah.
you were like, you parked your car in here,
That's
and now
right.
you got the gym.
Yeah, and I had tanks around, and I had tanks upstairs, and yeah, no.
So it's like, can I have
no
more
tanks
tanks?
inside? Down here, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think I've told her about this.
Okay, yeah.
Well, she doesn't watch the videos, so it's not like she'll know. She doesn't come down here.
Yeah, easy.
So that tank is now going to go here,
Yeah.
which is, it's going to be, that's the display height there, which will sort of hide that bench, but I can get around. But I'm going to hook it up to that sump, which will be an interesting effort in itself. But I know I can run down the back of that and get into the return line, and then I'll just need to run a pipe across the top. But that will then be on the Tanganyikan rack, because that's what that sump is. That's a hard water tank, and it's specifically for Malawis and Lake Tanganyikans. But that'll be there. I love that tank, but it's not something I get to spend a whole heap of time at.
Yeah.
It's in the foyer, and you literally are, oh, it's amazing, I've got to do something. And then you come back out, same thing, I've got to go. Those fish are just, when you'll see when we're out there, they're just incredible. They're just so personable, and they're always active. So I'm looking forward to that. And that's, in the next couple of months. I've got a deadline now with you coming back to film again.
Yeah, it's good.
So-
Deadline dates are great.
So that's the plan for there. And then, yeah, I think that's about as much as I could squeeze into the room, really, don't you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, I
You
thought
know?
this was as much as you would squeeze in, but
Yeah.
more.
I can always find, well, I was only supposed to have one tank in here, which was that 8-footer when I
Yeah.
started. So,
Yeah,
yeah, very understanding wife, I guess.
they're good.
On your left,
Go to
this
these
is,
ones now?
yep, blackfin. They're long blackfin, although they're not showing it at the moment. They might tonight. This one's a bit close, but their fins go completely black, and they look really, really attractive. So I'm going to try to breed that line. That was a line that Matt Duffy gave me. I mean, they're only rosy bars, but they're really interesting fish. Like if you like, just watching fish, then these guys are super active.
Yeah, they're always
So-
in the front, never skittish.
Yeah, easy enough to breed too, of course, with being rosy barbs. So I'm going to smash that out. But what I'm going to have so what is in there already still is there are about 18. See the dwarf pygmaeus corridora down there by the log?
Yeah.
So there's about 18 of them in there, and they're my breeding colony, but they haven't bred or they haven't successfully bred since the rosy barbs have been in there. So I'll pull them out, and that tank I've got lots of Ludwigia going up the back, and then the Sawasatang. I'm going to make a wall of Sawasatang, so the whole back wall. And if as you know, when you breed pygmaeus cories, you'll see the tiny babies going across the tank as well as they swim around.
Yeah.
Like they're absolute food for these guys, but they do tend to use most cories will go from the bottom to the top only, but I found the pygmaeus will go swim around, and then they'll go to the top, and they'll make a zigzag type pattern as they come down. Well, they're just munched on as soon as they
Yeah.
do that. The other ones hit the surface. The tank above is green neon, see little baby.
Dude,
over
I just
here.
love this tank. Before we even talk about that,
Yeah, the grotto.
oh, dude.
Yeah, I love
that
it.
flicker, but that is so neat.
Yeah, it looks
Look at it.
amazing when I drain the tank, and it comes down like a
Yeah.
drape.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
Cool as, man.
it's one of my favourites. I don't do a whole heap to it because of that reason, and it's got so they're breeding in there. The green neons, you'll see a little baby.
Oh, really?
Or two, yeah. And I've got Napoentus cories and all those snails in there.
Wait, where the hell are the green neons? I scared them off.
You
Yeah,
did, but
yeah.
they
They'll come out for B-roll.
yeah, they will. You'll see the little baby in there comes out as well. But I got yellow cherry shrimp
Nice.
with Napoentus cories, and there's a black one there too by the looks of it. So I don't. They're just a mixture. And the neons, great little tank. Camera shy as all get out.
That's all right.
Top one is basically the red. I thought they were albino guppies, but they're pretty true. They breed really nice reds. That
Okay,
was
another little thing I like about this tank is the overhang.
yeah.
Good
Yeah.
thing we're not tall, but
Yep. That was the one where the Sawasatang, see how long it is?
Yeah.
I've moved it all around, but you'll still see some of the remnants of the long strands going up there like kelp.
yeah.
So, but look at how many babies I got in there. There's just a ton of fish in that tank.
Sweet.
Yeah. And I'm happy up there because guppies are always at the top. Any other fish would be hiding, and for me, that's just a good view. I probably will get a light up there. I just haven't. I had one, I just haven't replaced it.
Mm-hmm.
But yep, that's another one. And
All right.
Well, you don't need to spend too much time on these two, but they're Endler guppies that are for sale, and these are the. There's a heap in there, of course. In fact, let me drop a bit of bug buffet in there. You'll see what they do. Got a bit in there and a bit in here. The ones above it, they're my line breeding for the males, like you can see. In fact, that male, ready to go, he just went to the top. So there's a couple of standout males in there.
Yeah, I see the one you're talking about.
Yeah, so they're the fire red ones that I'm looking at as well. I'll probably keep trying to breed them, trying to line breed them. The ones in the tank below, I'm just going to get rid of as Endler guppies.
Yeah.
Tank to your left, that one is where, see the rainbows hiding under the log there?
Oh, yeah.
So they'll come out massively for food. They're not shy. It's at the time of day, but then that's where my baby albinos are, and the black Venezuelans are in there as well. So that tank is just how I breed them, with there's lots of root structure, some decent swim area, but lots of places for them to hide. And again, you'll see how many's in there when they come out. The tank below it, which we saw with the Dumbo guppies, if you look at the back, on the rock right at the back, you'll see a baby Matai to your left.
See like one face.
That's it's just on that. So it's just straight through there. You see his little black shark fin sticking up?
Oh, yeah.
So he's one of the babies. Believe it or not, and you'll see him tonight, there's 30 plus Matais hiding in there.
Wow.
There's a massive school of them, and they are a shy fish. They only come out really for food. But the babies, they're a bit more game. They'll sort of sit out there and sit under the shade there, under the log. So those two is how I like to keep my tanks and breed them. I've let this one go to shit.
Yeah.
Because I'm filming how to rectify a tank and set it up specifically for Cory breeding.
So the shallow tanks are better for Corys.
Definitely, definitely. So the babies need to get to the oxygen pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. So that's for I think for survival for fries. I do think it's also where Corys breed, because they go right up into the shallows, and as Eric Bodrock says, be the fish. If you actually do that and then try to replicate the structure and the system, well, it looks filthy. Pardon me, but they love it, So I'm going to fix that tank up and do a vid. This one, all I'm going to do in here is put some more leaf litter. That's what all this stuff is, because that's the CW27s, and they are under the log there. I'll get the torch. They're big ones too, but they can you see them under that?
I can see like a face.
Yeah. So if you're coming from that angle there, you'll see them all under there. Again, as soon as we feed.
Yeah. I don't know. They're there.
That's how they do it naturally, that's where they spend most of their time.
Yes.
And then we'll just keep on this little section here.
Black Ockies?
Black Ockies, yeah, they're my spare pair, all breeding. But the ones below the next tank down are the... I've got some Capilli Gold Julidochromis in there, which you won't see because they're as shy as all get out. But you see these guys down here, they're all my babies, the last spawn.
Oh, yeah.
So there's some young ones in there.
I do love the story of how you got these.
Yeah, when we went with Harry on the road trip.
Yeah, that was cool. I love having like a story with a fish.
Totally.
It makes it really hard to let go of them, doesn't it?
Oh, totally. That's why I've still got these ones. There's one of the mums down there. But I like that tank.
Yeah, me too.
Pothos seems to suit any style of fish.
Yeah.
You put it in, the roots go nuts, and I think it looks natural. Emerald green Corys, I love that tank, one of my favourite tanks. They're not an overly shy fish, really. They'll come out in school. So I put 6 in there, and I think I've got 8, 9, something like that in there. So they're breeding in there themselves. I've never pulled the eggs out because I've never seen the eggs. But I've seen the babies that have, the results of them. So, and there's, I think there's 6 golden pencil fish in there as well.
Yeah.
Which naturally are the fish that these guys have above them as far as dither fish are concerned.
Yeah, that'd help them a lot.
Now, if you're really sly, you might maybe catch a fish on your right with over here on this tank with see the guys, the Alanakara. They are so shy when it comes to to having a camera out, and the big males are all hiding at the moment, but they are one of the most incredible bluefish that I think you'll see, and we'll get them tonight when they come out, and I'll put the light on them, and you'll have to have like maybe a still frame because they'll dart so quickly. But they've been breeding in there for me for a while now. She might even be holding that one on the bottom.
I think so, maybe.
She's got a bit of a full mouth there.
She's got yeah.
There's one of the big boys coming out. Now, I don't, like they absolutely, I'll stand way back here with this light, but they'll still, see that? As soon as the light hit them, as soon as the light hits them, they're gone. They are the hardest fish to film in my room.
Wow.
I think I'm just going to have to put maybe an extra light on the top and then just like put the camera on a stand there and just hope they come out. But look at that, they're gone. They don't come back for ages. They're a crazy fish. I love them. I still wouldn't get rid of them for that reason, but
they're just impossible to film.
Impossible to film. Yep.
Well, we got.
I've been talking a lot. You probably got questions.
Yeah. Not really. Yeah, it's cool. I do like the fact that you got the black, not the black background, but the mossy.
Yeah, how I don't touch it. Yep.
Yeah. Because you can imagine like this would all be exactly like that. You've just washed it down. It kind of gives it that cool look, like with all the fuzz.
Yep. And see, it's
Are
another.
there any, like, can you put bottom feeders in there with them? Like a bristlenose or something in there to help clean that up?
Yeah, you could.
Is there a reason you haven't?
I like the look.
Yeah.
Yeah, and see, when they come out, the babies feed off all of that mold.
Yeah.
Like you'll actually see them pecking at it.
There's a baby. Oh, I just saw one like.
Yeah, there should be some little ones in there, and you'll see it's one of the only. Now all the live plants have grown into it, but it was one of the only tanks that I put the fake plants in.
Yeah.
So that the mums could spit the babies into it, but then the plants started to grow in there, and they weren't attacking them. Yeah. He's not even half as blue as he could be. With
yeah,
I've
seen them and they look really good.
Yeah. I love that. It's almost like a little parrot face, isn't it? Like the way they've got there.
Yeah.
And they all come out again.
I love the variation between the different sizes of fish in here too. Like you got them like sitting right next to freaking swordtails.
Yeah.
Different ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I do mix it up, that's for sure. But they don't eat those plants.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty, you walk me through.
Probably go sort of starting up there. You might have got a little step still if you want to.
Yeah. So blue acaras and bosmanis.
Yeah, so these are more of the rainbows that I got given. And again, I've only got the males, but I love them, so I'll probably get some females. And then they're more of my baby acaras I'm just growing out in there. I've probably got a dozen of those guys left, sort of 6 over there, 6 here, and then there's a couple over at my mate's as well. It's quite a dirty tank as far as the mulm and stuff goes in there, but it's quite clean, so I don't really do too much to it, and that's a temporary one. Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to put up there yet. It's slightly larger.
It's just like a holding tank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then these guys over here are the second colony of the purple lay lupi. Oh, there they go.
Sorry.
Yeah. But you can see, same thing with all the mulm and all the moss and stuff. I just let it go. I don't, literally, it is food for the babies. They are always,
Speaking of.
they got a couple there. Oh, yeah. You can see that little one. So, yeah, they hide in it. They eat it. This tank causes me just no grief. It's just such a super easy tank to take care of. If I need to buy a better flipper scraper so I can actually scrape it without getting up and having to put my hand into it. But other than that, just literally, in fact, I could probably put a Pleco in there, but the same thing, all that mulm gets stirred up and it'd eat everything off the side.
Yeah.
So I really just have to work on the glass cleaning. That's about it.
It's massive too.
Yeah.
It's a big tank.
It is.
5 foot?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm happy with that one. That one there's just got my orange Venezuelan cories in it. Now, different to the others, and it's only because I needed the tank, because that's on the Tanganyikan system. See, the sand's different there as well?
Yeah.
So it's actually the hard water. They don't have any problems living in there. They haven't bred in there, obviously. But yeah, look, they're fine. They quite happily live and carry on in there like normal. But I'm thinking I'll turn that the tap off where it comes down from the top.
Yeah, what is that? That's the Tanganyika.
So that's the Tanganyika water from the other sump that's coming in there. So I'll turn that off, and then I'll drop a ton of leaves in there basically, and I think I'll just try to breed them in there like that and see if I can just switching up the tank. And again, it's part of the Cory video, but if that does it, then I think those guys should breed. You won't see anything in this tank. Julidochromis Capilli Gold, they might come out for feeding, but it's a tank, it's a bomb. I'm going to redo that one, but there's probably 6 in there and some babies. You haven't seen anything?
Baby there. No. Right there.
That's it.
Yep, that's about it.
Yeah, so that's about all you see. To your left is the Hawaiian sunset platies. So
World famous, remember them from
I've had
tour
them.
number 1?
Yep, I've had them for so long. And there's a whole mess of babies in there as well. So I haven't really, I don't know, I just keep them for sentimental reasons, really. I quite like the fish, obviously. It's a beautiful looking fish, but they're in the hard water and doing fine.
Yeah, they're nothing crazy, but we've had those. I mean, I think I've still got some in my planted tank at the shop.
Yep.
That you gave me. They're just non-stop.
They're tough little ones, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Hello, Zig.
Yeah, he's cute, eh?
He gets on all the steps. So he actually goes up the 3 steps on the step ladder as well. It's because he likes
This is so cool. Look at it from above.
These guys, yeah. It's why I do love this tank and the low boy. It was an old sump, and when the guy gave it to me, he actually broke it. So I've siliconed it up and put some perspex on it. It's lasted forever. But it's the perfect tank for the multis. So there are Julidochromis transcriptus in there, and you will see them. See one of the big heads coming out of the rock. So they're again, dinner time, they'll be right out. But they get on well, and like they're breeding in there still. I think the Julies probably have slowed them down and picked off a few babies, but the reality is, you know, there's enough in there, there's enough places to hide. And yeah, like you see, these guys have just cleaned out that section over there.
Yeah.
You know, so the Julies, to get to them, they've got to come a long way.
These are a cool fish, hey?
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very
Like
personable.
when you look up in their face too, they've kind of got like this weird, I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't really done much with these Tanganyikans.
Shellies. Mate, really, again, if you want some, I'll get you a little colony of them together. But in your fish room, like you set the sand level, say 2 inches, 3 inches are just flat, and then just drop some shells in. You'll come out and there'll be half of it up one side, and there'll be holes over here and the shells over here. They'll just rearrange it to whatever they want, and you see them pushing shells around. It's like, it's really, really interesting behaviour.
It's like a whole different type of fish species,
So they're the Neolamprologus multifasciatus.
Yes.
They're the Neolamprologus similis.
Yes.
And the difference is as the banding goes up and over the head, so onto the forehead, and up to just behind the eyes, they actually get quite big. I've lost quite a few. Get out of your way there. I've lost quite a few of the adults in the last couple of months, just I think because of the age. Yep. But I got whole generations coming through there, a few different ones.
Yeah.
Love those fish.
You've had these the whole time I've known you as well.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, many years.
To be fair, like most of the time, I haven't seen you get something and get rid of it.
No. I like, if I put I think the thought and the motivation into actually getting it, then it deserves to have, the life with me. And I struggle to get rid of the baby fish.
Yeah.
It's tough. So yeah, I do buy them as forever pets pretty much.
Yeah,
and,
I've never seen you like go, oh no, don't want these anymore.
No.
Really.
So we'll do those ones with the sun. Turn to your left, and then these more tangs, always sticking to the tangs. There's
the sardine cichlids as well.
Siptochromis black bee. And then my baby's in there as well. So there's 6 or 7. And then the others are the Ornata pinus.
I love these.
Really cool shell dwellers.
The other thing I like too is that they sit still, so they're so easy to
feed. Yeah.
Neat fish, dude.
Yeah, I like that tank. I like them, all of the mold and everything growing on the back of it.
Yeah. It's just wild, like people would think that this is a dirty tank. This is actually super healthy.
Yeah, and particularly for the Siptochromis, again, they eat that. The babies eat the mulm and they hide in there. Yeah.
Look at them beefing up to each other.
Yep. Yeah, they're not shy, the Ornitopinus.
Oh, dude, this tank's looking great.
Yeah, that's the cherry shrimp tank.
Yeah. Look at that ball there.
Yeah, it's a
What's
Sawasser
the
tank.
man?
What I'll do, because I have filmed that tank before, I know what a pain it is.
And the crypts are looking really good.
Yeah, the crypts in there I think are going like super well.
Yeah, they are. And then the lotus as well.
Yeah, surprisingly, because it's so shaded, I would have thought. Now I've got some magnets somewhere. I've worked out how to do this now for filming. I'll put this up behind here, and you'll cut out the glare.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's a tank I like to film, and it's on the same light system as this rack.
The metal racks are good for magnets, hey?
Yeah. Yep. And I do have like little curtains that sort of cover these things as well, but at the same time I can't see the fish from the top. That should cut some glare out for you.
Perfect.
But I love that tank. It's pretty much red cherries. There's a few orange here and there that I've got to pull out. But I do spend a lot of time sitting where you're sitting.
Just
Usually
mopping
Ziggy
out.
on my lap and
Yeah.
just chilling, having a, speaking of which, you'll probably, you want to get on your lap.
Yeah?
That's the Wasser tank. I like the way
Look at him.
how it actually, it's hedged almost, like it, and I
Yeah.
haven't touched it at all. I don't cut it, I don't trim it. It's exactly the way that it is. And then it's actually gone to that tight ball type thing. And then if you have a look from the top, how it looks from down there,
Oh.
doesn't that look good?
Yeah. Yeah, it's so neat.
Yeah. I love watching them from the top. That's, to me, is, yeah,
Just a totally different way of looking at a tank.
it is. And of course, blending the top with it, it actually just, it looks like a bit of a pond as opposed to looking through just the square glass at the top, you know?
Yep. Yeah, that pond element. And more crinums.
Yep, more crinums. That's, it goes to show they don't like flow, or they prefer low flow.
Yep. Yeah, doing really well with most of these plants, actually.
So these ones are bombed. You might, I'll grab a torch because you might see some blue cherries in there. I'm hoping they're still in there. Like I've taken lots out, but I know there's still some in here. You might be able to see somewhere.
So
But that tank is, yeah, that's just all the roots from the pothos. So I'm taking that whole tank out and I'll do something with that. What I'm thinking is I'll make that a shrimp tank. I'll make that a shrimp tank, and I'll move these tanks from the top and just make that a shrimp rack,
Yeah.
and just put Neocaridina in that one.
Yeah.
And they're so entertaining to watch. Like, I mean, like such a small little creature. I'll open the door and show you how the light looks with these ones coming in. It's getting to my favourite part of the day when the light, because I have the door open of an afternoon, even in winter, because the sun just barrels in. And Ziggy goes out straight away. Look at that.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Nothing better than sunlight. Like, look at how it ripples on the...
It sets off the blue topaz guppies really well.
It does. There's some lens flare there, but... That's cool as.
So they're albino blue topaz in there with some red cherry shrimp.
And then these are...
So they're Japan blues. I'm actually going to get rid of that line. They're one of the ones I'm sort of done with, but I'd like to go to someone who wants them. But there's them and some more red cherry shrimp. But you'll notice in there, I've got some brevis sunspots.
Yeah.
So, or sunspot brevis. They jumped over from the tank, the next tank over to the left. So that I've actually got a pair in each tank now. So, and they haven't, I mean, you can see there's some bites out of the guppies' tails here and there, but they haven't smashed the guppies. So I'm now keeping guppies with Tanganyikans.
Breaking all the rules.
Yeah, with plants. And they're bred, by the way. So you'll see the sunspots on the left. They've got babies down in the shells somewhere. That's it, yep.
Down there.
Yep. So you'll see them right there, down in there. They'll probably be coming out thinking they're going to get fed now.
Yeah.
So there's little bubbies in there.
Nice.
And then I've got the black Dalmatian platies to the left there. That's a hard tank to get to, obviously. But I've got them in there, and I'm going to keep trying to do the Dalmatian. They didn't do what I wanted them to last time.
Yeah.
Completely black.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now they've spat out all those white babies. So I don't know.
Yeah, last time they were super skittish and it was just pissing us off, remember that?
Yeah, I do. Have a look at the tank down the bottom, the stimulus now with the light. Doesn't that look good?
Yeah, that looks awesome, man.
So
Wow.
yeah, that's why, like, if I can get into the fish room, I mean, a lot of the times if I'm coming from the farm, I won't get home till 6 or 6:30, so the light's gone. But if I'm in here 3, 4 o'clock, I just love hanging around to see where the sun goes. And of course it changes tank to tank at different times of the year, you know.
How many hours a week are you spending in here, you reckon?
So I can get feeding done in 40 minutes and then add 40 minutes of just hanging around down here. So hour to an hour and a half a day minimum. And I'm doing water changes at the same time. As you saw, it's not hard. I'm cleaning glass, so that's not, you know, again, if you got, like, for your visit to do 80 odd tanks in this room, that's a nightmare to get them all to be, you know, spot on the day.
Yeah.
But, you know, if this one gets dirty and I clean that one, then I might clean that one a day later, and I just do 1 or 2 at a time. You know, now they're in this position, they'll stay that way for a long time as long as I don't slip up.
Yeah.
And then once you get 6 or 8 tanks that are really filthy, then you need to put the day in. And, you know, I'd probably spend 4 to 6 hours on the weekend just doing that. I don't see it as work, though. I love it. And then, of course,
So
now,
at least 12 hours a week, kind of.
at least, yeah. And then I'm filming on top now with the YouTube channel, so that slows things down considerably to go from take 3 minutes to clean a tank to 15 to film it. If you're going to film it, you know, set it up, put the tripod up, different angles, all the stuff that goes with it. So yeah, it's for me though, I actually love that whole thing about trying to show off how beautiful the fish are, and I really enjoy the editing process. I mean, you taught me a lot about the editing stuff, and I love the way you know, the music you put into yours, and trying to replicate that. Your stuff inspires me. So it's like, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Like, it's a really, really good part of my hobby now that I've included into it. So,
15 hours.
Yeah, look,
minimum.
if you said, as a minimum, you'd have to do it. But for me, that's 15 hours of pretty much love.
Yeah, it's part of the therapy, like cleaning tanks,
Yeah.
scrubbing tanks, that's therapy too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, nothing better than scraping a good algae-covered tank with the razor blade.
put the
It's
music
like, oh,
on,
yeah.
get into it. Like,
Yeah, well, that's what I do here. That's
audio book.
obviously for us for YouTube, but my stereo is always on. These fish get music played to them, you know.
it's a funny
often.
snail, that one, maybe. So wait, that's all the tanks then? Yeah.
Yeah, actually, if you give it another 5, see whether it's just about through that. I should go anyway, but the sun, you can do your B-roll with that. So yeah, I've just left this one. This is where I'm going to breed the blackworms. I'll show you the tub of blackworms I got as well. But basically, I'm just going to breed them in here. That's a currently there was
Darios.
the Darios. The female died. I don't know if I told you the story, but I actually fed her a large. You know the worms that you get in the soil, and they're pink and they're probably that long, and they do this sort of stuff.
Like a detritus worm.
Yeah, but huge, like, you know, talking inch and a half long. And I put it in there, and she nailed it, and it was just, you know, she ate it.
A horsehair worm, wasn't it, or something?
Big one, yeah, like not like it you know, it's sort of a bit centipede-ish looking, and she ate it, but the next day she was just up at the top and she wasn't well, and then I tried to look after her for a week and salt and all that sort of stuff, but she ended up passing. So he's in there by himself. So I'm either going to give him back to Eliza so that she can, you know, breed them, because she's the only one that I know who can breed them.
Yeah, same.
Or get a female from her and try again. But the tubs, pretty much everything except for the last 2 tubs is for sale. I'll put some food in because I'll come up. These are platies and sorties. They're not going to be shy.
Yeah.
And they're all.
Oh, there's a caterpillar here.
Yeah, come off. One of the things, having plants in the room, you do get that. These guys will come out. They're just heaps of sorties. 24 karat golds. Again, another tub, and another tub of the platinum blues. Now, interestingly, with these ones, which you might be able to shed some light on, may as well start with them.
These are actually really pretty, hey?
Yes. Wait till the sun hits them.
Yeah.
You'll get great B-roll. So the females, you can see the females here have actually got that really good yellow tail. These are the ones that Matt Duffy gave me, the females. Mm-hmm. So look at how dark they are for a girl guppy, you know. Mm-hmm. And the boys are really quite light, and these are my main breeding group, and then I keep the babies and move them on. These guys, however, they were supposed to be platinum blues, right? Like total blues. But since I put them in the sun, their tails have turned red.
Now they're tuxedos or something.
Yeah, look at the.
Well, I can't be the one to tell you they're red, but
No, you can't. But the difference in them, so that'll come up on camera for anyone that's not colourblind.
yeah,
But they got red in their tails, which is but the ones that aren't in the sun, it's the only thing I can think of different. They don't have red in their tails, and they never had red in their tails when I got them for months. So I don't know. I don't know if that's a thing, but
okay, I learned this because I went snorkeling, and the person that we went snorkeling with was telling us the first spectrum of light that you lose through water is red.
okay, really.
So like, yeah, so.
Well, which would be why deep sea they can't see, when the deep sea fish they put the red light out because the fish can't see it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they don't see. Yeah, so red's the first thing to leave the water. So I don't know, but
Yeah,
so
wow.
maybe the sun's like got it letting the red come through.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's a really beautiful fish. It's a really beautiful guppy, but it's not breeding pure and yeah.
Well,
so
it is probably breeding pure. It's just probably now you can see the red with the sunlight.
maybe.
Oh.
So they're going to go those ones. Okay, I don't know how many of those have I got. And then in here, you'll see probably if I just move that light that way, you'll see how many sorties I've got in here. There's just, I don't know, well over 100.
Yeah.
Tons of babies. So again, that whole tub's going to go. I'll pick the koi style sortie out of there. I'm definitely going to take every one of those and line breed them. But they breed really well in these sorts of tubs. I've got them outside in a IBC as well, but they can, no problems at all, 0 degrees, not an issue. See, they look good when they're coming out now, don't they?
Yeah, yeah.
They're a really nice platy.
They are. I haven't done platies for a long time. I'm just doing a video now.
Yeah.
I'm going to breed some up because it's just like one of those things that first tank I had platies.
Yeah.
That's like get back to your roots sort of thing.
Yeah, for sure. Really happy fish.
Yeah.
And all the time.
Yeah.
And like I touch as many of the fish as I can. I get them used to me and putting my hands in the water and not trying to catch them. And that's why they're not scared when I go up to the tank. I also,
Look at that right now.
drink beer and sing to them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, doesn't that look good?
Yeah. Yeah. That looks awesome, man.
I mean, that
Tanks look just like from like when we first started filming the room to now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's matured, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's found its feet.
That whole scene,
Yeah,
right
it's
up to the waterfall with that rick here at the top there.
Yeah. You can't miss these as well.
No, you got to. I love. Yeah, look, the sunlight on them is great. They're your gadids. So there's nothing much to them. They're just the same ones as in that tub.
Yeah.
And they're all the babies. So that's where your little colony will come from today.
Beauty.
These guys are paradise fish.
These are so cool.
The sun's looking good on them.
Yeah.
So they up until yesterday, like literally yesterday, they were outside, and we got 3 days of 0 degrees in a row. And these guys are like this all the time. They want to be up at the top. They want to know what's going on. They'll eat out of your hand. They're not scared of you. And then they were just still, like they just weren't moving. They were, and I knew that they'd live from where they come from, but I just felt cruel sticking them out there when I could drag them in here. So anyway, I emptied half of it out. My son and I carried the tub in here, and within 2 hours, they were back to they were just back to being personable. But they're an amazing fish. They're great in ponds.
Yeah.
And you could leave them outside all year. I've proven that by 0 degrees. 3 days in a row. But if you can bring them in, I think if you can give them a break, bring them in.
Yeah.
You know. But they're beautiful. I love those guys.
They'll breed like crazy in summer too.
Yeah.
I reckon.
Yeah, I reckon too.
But even the way you've decorated these little ponds, like there's like a styro box on the floor, but you've
Yeah.
just put like a plant and like.
Yeah, well, I've got a tiger lotus in there and some broadleaf Java fern there as well. I've got an Amazon sword coming up there. I've got some more of the how the Java fern breaks off and all the rest of it. So I just keep those and they'll all sprout. Same as the nubias. If you can do that with the nubias, that's how you get like tons of it. And I just look, the plants themselves for me I find just as enjoyable as the fish, some of the time, and particularly things like my little nano tank. I mean, I get a ton of pleasure out of that, and just watching the plant grow on its leaf is half open, then a week later, it's open. I mean, it's crazy. But I get so much enjoyment out of it, and when they flower underwater and little flowers on top, and
Yes.
I don't know why. It's just It's just what motivates
It's the
me
same.
and inspires me, you know. So
It's the same as a fish.
yeah. Now this guy here on the how colourful he is on the.
Stay there, buddy.
There he is.
Yeah, you can see that colour there.
And what like to not be scared like that, you know. Like
Yeah.
you got this camera, they've never had you here before with a camera in their face, and this is what they're doing, you know.
Yeah, they're like coming up to you like,
Dad, feed us. We're warm again.
yeah, bug buffet, bug buffet.
Yeah. Well, here I'll get.
No,
Yeah.
other shit, bug buffet.
Yeah.
So cute. You're not all out of Lodia too.
Yeah, I love it. Flowers. The flowers come up out of the water too. And Ziggy drinks out of all these
Yeah.
tubs and the fish, you know. the light coming in on the lotus there now. Yeah, so it's just a styrofoam box, but I get a heap of pleasure out of it. I don't know, you know, why that's so, but just to make that a beautiful environment for them just seems to be, I don't know, something that I really enjoy. All right, so first,
So these are the outside ponds now.
yeah, you
Yeah.
see the sun's just starting to come in, and look where all the fish gather. So this is again the time of day that I like to hang out, because if you're looking for the fish, they'll be in the sun, especially this time,
And they're looking so good too.
aren't they? Yeah, they're really happy in there. And this is full of red cherry shrimp. See, if you just go diagonally up under that Buddha's foot there's that big red cherry.
So that tells you that you can have cherry shrimp in cold water.
Absolutely. Oh, cherry shrimp love cold water. Like I have no problems at all with them outside, and I've got to -3 here.
Yeah.
And you know, as far as I know, never lost a shrimp. I've got that tub, that pond out the side, as you know, with thousands of shrimp in it. It's been out there for years, and I don't even feed it, and they're thriving. So I do battle hair algae a little bit in that tub, but whenever I pull one thing, I guess I've heard that hair algae can kill shrimp, right? And they get tangled in it and all the rest of it. I think that's mostly bullshit.
Same.
Hair algae, when I pull their hair algae out, there are so many babies that they're covered. I've actually got to get it off.
Yeah, they'd be
to
eating
get
all
them
the
out.
biofilm.
It's the perfect thing for them. So I struggle with getting enough out so it doesn't look too bad, and then leaving enough in for them to actually, you know, to grow.
I guess like it.
Yeah.
What's he got?
Oh, he just chews and he just has to chew stuff and destroy shit for me. So he's just got a palm leaf, but that could have been anything from a net to, you know,
An Ugg boot.
Yeah. So and this, what I've done in this little pond as well. So I've got the swords. I bought one sword plant, which was the big one over there from Bunnings, and it had like the little babies off it starting to come out.
Yeah.
So I pulled them all off, and then I've been able to grow it ever since. But I just plant them in and see what happens with them. So I think is it Labile? Bacopa, is it? Yeah, Bacopa. And then the foxtail, Ludwigia, the swords. And then I just wait and see what happens. You know, like some are going to grow well, some are going to grow, you know, not so well. And then over time I work out, okay, well, those plants are good outdoors and all the rest of it. It's just experimentation. If they die, whatever, you know, it's just part of it.
Where they came from.
Exactly. So no heater, no air. I do love this. I'm going to get some bug buffet because they will go nuts.
Yeah, this was fun to look at before we started filming. I'm gonna freeze.
So these are my goldfish from the ones out the back. I've set them up so it's protected from the kookaburras and stuff, and the odd chicken that
Yeah.
So
does that solar still work? What is it?
No. So I call them. I basically just tap it's just, you know, my version of calling them, and then they all just congregate around here. I can get to see what fish are what, and then usually, you know, I always feed them pretty much. But there's some really cool goldfish. I like the ones with the red eyes, like this dude here.
Yeah.
He's a really spectacular fish.
It's neat.
And then the white ones with the red. I do forget the name of that. It's a Japanese name because it's like the Japanese flag.
Kieran? No.
So this is a tub. That's the original sortie. So it's just grown in the pot that I got it out of.
I was going to say, how long is it going to take for the kookaburras to realise they can just tap on the side?
Yeah.
And have their pick?
Yeah. don't put that out there.
Yeah.
You don't see too many until they sort of get fed, and it's pretty cold this tub. But you'll see little baby sorties in here swimming around.
So they live out here all year?
Yeah,
too?
all year.
Yeah.
Yep. So my grandfather, I was thinking about this the other day, like as you know, from when I was born, essentially, every time I went to his place, he had swordtails in ponds, and I remember he used to have a full pond that used to walk over a bridge to get into his house, and that was in Gosford, down in New South Wales, and
so much cooler,
much colder.
Yeah.
So I've never even thought twice about having them outside, and I mean they're still those babies.
They just go deep, I find.
They do,
Yeah.
and they'll slow down like the goldfish do, but the goldfish love the cold. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, I think you need to have them. I think it's almost cruel to keep them in a
In
tank
hot,
with
yeah.
with a heater all year. You know, like you should turn it off in winter and let them get cold. I think it makes them healthier fish, and all these guys have been outside for more than 10 years. Smaller ones that aren't 10 years old, obviously. But
Yeah.
the big ones, I have bought them in summertime, and I've had a goldfish display, and I loved it, but I put them back outside in winter. I think they really need it.
Fair enough.
So
You've
then
also
you got
endless, right?
yeah. So these guys do the same. They go pretty dormant. They've had so much wind. There's all this sort of filmy crap on top, but they'll dart around here and there if you sort of chase them. They do come out to feed. There's at least a dozen I've seen in there that have survived, but they pretty much do what the others do and just go a bit dormant. I don't think we'll see them today.
No.
Maybe with some B-roll. You will see these guys, I'm sure.
The minnows.
Mountain, white clouds. They never fail to.
So they're all good cold water as well, obviously.
Yeah,
eh?
you'll see. In fact, I will just grab that little torch because it'll shine up on the babies.
Yeah, yeah.
You see the little babies in there?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I can. Yeah, you can just see them on camera.
Yeah,
Yeah, so they're breeding in winter.
they're breeding in winter.
There's like a fresh baby there too.
Yeah, I'm
You
going
can
to
see.
say there's probably 50 in here.
Super underrated beginner fish.
Oh, and they're spectacular in the sun and like out in tubs and ponds outside.
Yeah, if someone's watching this and never kept fishing and thinking about it, get white clouds. They're just so easy.
Beautiful fish.
Yeah, and they're so fun to watch too. Better than guppies.
Yeah, I think they're comparable. I love guppies too, of course, but the longfin white clouds, special. This tub's an interesting one. That's just got tadpoles, but this one has got it's just a mixed shrimp. But look at here. I'll let you get in there. I get so many Riley shrimps.
Struggle to see that, aren't we?
That Amazon sword's growing under duckweed, so it's completely, they're usually on the wall here too as well. They're only on the.
Yeah. You're not going to be able to see the Rileys, I don't think, but I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, there's.
It's weird the stuff you get from like even that. Fuck.
Red and blue they are.
Attack me. Yeah, you get like all sorts of different colours just from mixing them like
red, blue, black,
Yeah.
and blue, and there's a whole heap of difference in like red, white, reds. There's some really cool ones in there. So I'm waiting to pull that down and actually separate them out. But I want to have one of those other tanks for that shrimp rack.
Yeah.
So if I had that one on the bottom right, for example, the 2/3 one, have that set up for really shrimp. That's the goal there.
What I've found is if you cross the yellows and reds, they kind of just continually stay yellow and red.
Yep.
Because they must just be from the same genetics. But then like if you take like a yellow and a blue, it starts making all this weird wacky stuff.
Yeah, I've got some really nice green ones in there,
Yep.
the jade green ones.
Yeah. They're apparently really hard to keep green.
The line, I've never been able to do it.
Yeah.
I think Lucas has done it. This is just, so it's a defunct tub, but it's got probably the best cherry shrimp I've got in it. So I'll just sort of, you'll probably start to see the shrimp when I get down here. Yeah, you see them all down there.
Yeah.
There's a heap of shrimp in this one. But what I do with this one, there's some worms dropping out of there. You see them all there?
Oh, there's like black worms in there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see.
So what I found though is that frangipani leaves, which is the tree above it, which are usually milky and
full of
quite
toxins.
toxins and all that shit. So they just fall in here. The shrimp love them. They just love them. But this tank I've just sort of let go because I've got to pull it apart, but I mean, check out the waterfall.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's just overgrown now, but it was...
doesn't it look awesome?
Yeah, it looks so
And then
good.
the way that the moss here, look at the way the moss is just coming into there, and then you'll see all the shrimp in here as they come up, and they'll go right up the waterfall, follow the water up there. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
These tillandsias have gone nuts too.
Yeah, everything, and there's a particular mini monstera, but yes, there's a ton of shrimp I've got to get out of here. They're predominantly red, but I get some awesome oranges. This is another way you learn what grows in water. This is all grown in water.
What's this? Mondo grass.
Mondo grass, yeah, dwarf mondo. Java moss out over. That's a Bessa block, just completely covered with the hole.
Neat.
That's the hole in there, yeah, the center through there.
That's so cool, hey?
Yeah. So I had the blue platinums in here, but I took them out. They're way happier in there as fish. They're bred in there since I put them in there.
Really?
Yep. This is a orange medaka IBC.
Yeah.
I've got to remember to put the net back over it. I love the look, but
Same.
I really don't. I really dislike. Zig, enough. Come here. This will go for a while. Hey, come here. Please, come here. Thank you. Here, come here. Thank you. Come on.
If you hold him, does he stop?
No.
Not really. No.
Is it bladderwort, that
Yeah.
shitty stuff in there?
Yeah.
I've got to get in and pull all that out.
Yeah,
So
I hate that stuff.
I just planted up. That was supposed to just be Val, and I don't know how the Alodia got in there, but I'm just going to get in and just pull it all out, because that I'm almost certain would, because that's a carnivorous
Yeah, but
type.
I don't know enough about it. But yeah, I just know it's not good. It's like duckweed. We should make a shirt. Fuck bladderwort.
Yeah. You could have
A whole collection.
whole fuck you range.
Fuck bladderwort.
See the orange medakas down the bottom?
Yeah.
They get more active of an afternoon, obviously, because it's cold. But that's it. So what I'm going to do is clean all that out. I'm going to grow the, it's what pisses me off, right, is that was the best red root floater, and now it's got all that stuff in it. Look at that, you know, I mean, and it's so hard to get out. Like,
the next shirt, dude.
you know?
That's definitely the next shirt.
Yeah.
Fuck
So
bladderwort.
I'll probably just take all the red root floater off. I'll pull all that shit out. I'll leave the val in there that I can, and then I'm going to fill it full of orange cherry shrimp.
Yeah.
Orange medakas, orange cherry shrimp. The net goes over the top, and then no dragonfly larva. Mm-hmm. Nothing in this one.
That's another one. Fuck dragonfly.
Yeah. That's why I said you have a whole fucking range.
Yeah, exactly.
Duckweed, but see, this is all that water sprite.
Yeah.
And this was in the 8-footer. This was just floating in the top of the 8-footer.
Yeah.
So I took it out, and then of course, as it breaks up, I mean, look at that now. Oh. So what I would do is I'd cut that there, and I'd just plant it like a carpet, and then cover it, and it just grows out amazingly well. But see, I've got all, this is just winter storage. The foxtail just grows so nice outside, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Look at that in the sun.
That stuff grows so well for me in the room.
Yeah.
And I use it so much for just breeding and...
Yeah, it's just a great plant. There's a lily in this pot that's going to come back because that goes down over winter. And then I've got some nice... This is what I like. I'd like to have one of these just sitting here to be used at any time. I can just chuck timber into it. Like, I mean, that's one of the logs I got soaking in there. But how's that for
the new tanks, maybe?
Yeah. So I just like to be able to have a spot for timber and, you know, throw plants.
Yeah.
And not worry about them. So that's about it, really.
Nice, dude. Yeah, well, it's interesting to see it all in winter, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, wait till the sun's come through here, and
look really pretty,
like
actually.
this is a shot that I do on my channel a lot because it's just so beautiful coming through through the trees with the mountains.
Well,
with the way the sun gets onto the bug buffet.
Anyways, thanks so much for having us here again, dude.
My pleasure. It's been so much fun. You guys are always cool to hang out with, and you know,
it's been great.
Get the sheriff, keeps him going for a while, keeps him occupied for the day. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, it'd be cool to come back in like spring, summer.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
How it's different and all that. So
yeah, I should have all those new tubs and tanks and set up around there by then. That'll be good.
Cool. All right.
Awesome. Cheers. Thanks. See you guys.